not for adding words. It just doesn't work.
No, don't worry. I just wish I had a fiver for every time I spelt the TEH. I'm forever doing that. You go back and go, oh yeah, that's not how you write the.
There you go. Got a string going.
I'm usually I'm usually an HTE type guy.
Ah, no, I'm a TEH guy.
You might hear some Lego rustling in the background. It's just my son's getting some pieces out of the massive Lego bins we've got in the back.
Oh, right. Oh, cool.
Yeah, which is fine. It's just if you hear the rustling, that's what it is.
Yeah.
I finally got my delivery of the metal track links for this M3 Lee that I'm making, because the kit items are an absolute fucking nightmare to assemble. And I thought my favourite company will make a set of metal legs for this somewhere. Yes, they do, but they're the only ones. So I've had to order them from Hungary. Fucking ridiculous. This poor little box, and they were struggling to get the customs label stuck on the back because there really wasn't enough room for it, you know. Yeah. Usually, although of course, you know, they're a Hungarian company, you can usually buy their stuff over here, but not this. They seem to be the only company who still make a set of track kit for this particular model, this tank. Because the ones in the kit, they're so fucking difficult to assemble. No bollocks. I'll buy something that's easy to make, and these ones are. I think it's only taken a fortnight to get here from Hungary. It's not bad going.
I find it really frustrating that I can order stuff from the States or Europe and it can get here in a few days. Something locally can take me 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
No, I know what you mean. Mind you, I'm now. Where's my file? I'm now waiting. Something posted from the States. So that was posted on the 8th, 10 days ago. So let's see if it can get here quicker than Hungary did.
You know what? I could start before anyone else turns up. Lindsay does have a new video this week.
Ah, does he? It's bound to be derpy, but not as derpy as what I've been hearing over at the Earth Awakening server lately. Witset's latest theory.
Oh.
All right, what was that?
I don't know about theory, but I've seen his latest website.
He's trying to say that some Dayton Miller analysis of the Michelson-Morley experiment showed that there was an 8 kilometre per second drift, and that just almost, except not exactly precisely, kind of literally not really matches the speed of the ISS. And so he's saying that the ISS is riding the ether drift up there.
Oh, right. Really?
That's quite retarded even for him.
That means meeting the ISS is an actual thing.
Yeah, he doesn't. There's people on it though, but he thinks it's a real thing now.
Right. And it's just floating around in the ether drift. Okay.
I mean, it didn't take him much to find a paper that shows that the Dayton Miller analysis of the Michelson-Morley experiment was completely flawed, and that Miller's own experiments were actually quite flawed as well. So he's parking up the entire wrong tree, really.
Yes. Well, I suppose that stopped any of them.
But I don't know why they always hark back to Michelson-Morley anyway. I mean, much more accurate modern experiments of the same kind have been done that pin down the ether drift to pretty close to zero anyway. So he's really grasping at straws by harking back to Mickelson Morley.
Well, it's currently doing 7.66 kilometres per second.
What's that? The ISS.
Yes, it's where is it at the moment? So the Saudi Arabia is just passing near Riyadh at an altitude of 422.35 kilometres.
I have to say, from a photographic point of view, it's moving far too slowly.
I don't know, it's knocking on some.
Yeah, but, I'm more worried about the angular velocity, really.
Yeah.
And the angular velocity is really slow.
I did hear that. I think it was one of the. It was Tataria, I think, was trying to say that the Cavendish experiment had never been replicated, and people pointed out to how blue and pretty much any physics major. I believe.
Yeah, well, that's pretty much a blatant lie. Even if Blue hadn't done it, it's still been repeated literally millions of times.
Isn't it?
I mean, in any given day, how many times has it been replicated across the world in various colleges and universities? Just in any given day. Obviously not Christmas time. Oh, it's never been repeated. Right, yeah, whatever. But then again, you've got a line of fluff, so...
Seems to be the way.
Well, it's just blatant denial of reality, isn't it? That's how to be a flat earther. Just say, oh, that doesn't happen, that isn't what we see, that's never been done, space is fake, blah, blah, blah.
And then the way they come up with a new theory, like Whitsitt says that the ISS floats around on the magnetic field lines, following the ether drift in the sacred flower pattern over the flat Earth with the ether drift, and then he goes on to proclaim that this explains everything that we see up there. Like with those words, he just calmly sort of like says, "Well, that explains everything," except it doesn't. There's no actual explanation in that at all.
Does that explain the moon? Does it
explain
the
anything.
stars? That explains.
Yeah, well, how about you use that theory to make a prediction?
Yes. Yes, if it's that solid, then you should be able to say, okay, this all happened. This is how it works.
Yeah, this is the mechanism that makes the sun go round. This is the mechanism that makes the planets go round.
So,
we can predict an eclipse on this day using this theory. Yeah, right.
or you could even go backwards in theory and say, okay, well, if this was true, then on such and such a day there should have been an eclipse, and then go back and have a look and see if there was. Yeah. Something like that, at least. You could try. Yes. Not likely. Not likely.
Still, anyway, he's now going to audit NASA, isn't he?
Yeah, I heard that.
Yes, the front page of the website is just a laugh from start to finish.
So that's the weird thing, is how do you audit NASA? I know he's going to try the fraudster, the frauditor techniques.
Yeah.
But it's sort of like, what do they say they're doing that they're not doing? Will they come and get rid of him if he's been annoying in the foyer? Yeah, probably. Yes, I can't see that working very well for him. So, did he get arrested before, or am I getting mixed up? Who got arrested in front of Rushmore?
That was Whitsitt. He'd got his lab coat on, and basically they said to him that he couldn't. The one area that he couldn't use the Loudhaler equipment was the area that he was in. They'd already warned him about that, and he just did it anyway. So they arrested him.
Yeah, and that's the annoying thing. It's like I was listening to a few people claiming that they're being censored on YouTube, etc. And then you find out, well, it's because not only is it it's not your flat Earth that's getting censored, it's your anti-vax and your Nazism and Holocaust denial, and all these other things, and you think, I have a feeling they're a little bit more.
That's what MC2 was pointing out to that guy he was talking to the other day, his latest one. You know, because he started ranting on about all these various other things, and MC2 was like, no, we're not talking about that here. And he said, oh, we're all being censored. And he said, no, if the flat Earth YouTube channels who just stick to flat Earth are still there, it's when you start spouting all the other shit is when they get shut down, because it's all the other shit that YouTube has said we're having nothing to do with, and if you keep talking about it, we'll shut you down.
Oh, that guy was a bit of a when you know. Toon thought he was going to get him to admit to allowing censorship, and then
here we go. Auditnasa.com. Our standard. At NASA Audits, we have a high standard for professionalism and good faith in our audits. We demand an exceptional level of expertise and dedication from our team members to ensure the efficacy of our audits. Professionalism. This is which shit. Fucking set up.
Active. Oh no, they're actual audits, not that one. I was just trying to find it on the line. Is that a web page?
No, it's auditnasa.com. Our team of experts include scientists, engineers, lawyers, researchers, and independent journalists. I'd love to know who these people actually are. But most importantly of all, it's 6 hours and 22 minutes until the merchandise is launched.
Yes. Yes. Funny that they got all that set up first before they actually did anything. Tends to show where your focus is, doesn't it?
Yep. Exactly.
So they're going out. Our standards at NASA. Okay. So what's that meant to mean?
Don't know.
Read that one. What else has he got on there? Well, the Space Act doesn't. I don't think that's got a lot in it. Is it the actual Space Act?
NASA's track record of suspect and suspicious activity. And you start reading that, and it's just a load of. It's the usual old bollocks. NASA was founded with the help of Nazi war criminals. Dun, dun, dun. Well, the use of occultic religious symbolism and references to Freemasonry and Greek mythos have also led some to question NASA's motivations. Freemasonry?
Freemasonry.
I mean, yes, some of the Apollo astronauts were Freemasons. Some of them. Not all of them. And so what?
I think they have a much more demonic idea of Freemasons than Freemasons do of themselves.
Yes.
But I always wondered, do they actually exist? I assume they still exist.
Freemasons?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Chap I used to know who I used to go paintballing with. He's a Freemason. He's an American who came over here and went native. I used to work half the bloody office I used to work with back in the 90s are all Freemasons. We used to piss off on a Thursday afternoon in the best bib and tucker.
Well, that was my mistake.
I didn't realise. I was coming back from site and I saw one of them and going the other way in a suit, and got back to the office and said, "Here, where's old Upex going all dressed up?" One of the guys was like, "Shh, no," pulled me to one side and started whispering us, "Oh, is he a Mason? Oh, is that all? I staff you buggers are Masons, aren't you?" And so you're in a boys' club, whoop-de-doo. I even knew what the bloody handshake looked like. I'd seen it enough.
I thought it was a good way to get. I heard it was a good way to get away from the wife for a few hours. A few of them told me.
Yeah, because there's no women.
Yeah, that's right.
Or they have their own separate,
Oh, probably.
separate little sort of semi-organisation. But yeah, it's a boys' club.
Do you want to hear some Lindsay? I get in an overwhelming.
Have you ever heard of that phrase that yeah means no?
Yeah. I was going to say he's going up in the world though. I don't know if you noticed he's got 3 whiteboards there now. Make that full screen.
Jesus.
Is that 3 or is that just one very big one and a slightly smaller one?
Yeah, you could be right. It could be right. It could be one big one with a. I thought that the one on the right just didn't quite line up at the back, but yes, it could be just a shadow. Makes it look like it's a different size one. So,
Yeah, I think that's just one big one.
Yeah,
Don't know.
But he's wiped out everything he had written up from last week, last time. Sorry, it's been a little while since we've seen a Lindsay.
Yes, I haven't seen the board quite that clean.
No.
And has Terry just not noticed that we're in here? Terry, are you listening? Are you watching Timbo's live stream?
I don't know. Can I see for people who's watching my screen? I don't know. I've never tried. I don't think I can. Let's have a look.
I think so.
I don't think so. I think I can see if there's you can hide your sub, like your name. So you see the number, but you can't see who it is. And I think that's so. A lot of people have hidden their subs, so I don't actually know they subbed. So just having a look. Otherwise, I don't know. I'm not sure what he's up to.
I wouldn't worry. Just do what you want to do, Timbo, and carry on. Honestly.
Not overly.
Yeah.
Not overly.
Yeah.
So let's see what happens. See if this draws in the crowds. Hi Judy, how are you? You've just arrived in time for Lindsay. I don't have a play presser. Hey Judy, if you want us to play Lindsay, you have to press play. We'll see if anything. See if we get anything.
Oh shit!
Give it 20
I'm gonna have to
seconds.
change headphones, aren't I?
Yeah, if you want to run away.
Well, no, it's just that at the moment I'm only going to be able to hear this in YouTube, and I can't hear YouTube.
No, you should hear it through us.
Because you're not actually. Yeah. Oh, okay. Because you're not.
Well,
actually,
let me push play. Let me push play and let me see if you can hear it. So after he zooms in. Can you hear? He hasn't said anything yet. Just so you know.
Hi there.
That's what I
Welcome
can't
to.
Could you hear that?
I did.
Yes, I now have the problem of I can hear him, but he's still zooming in on YouTube.
No, mate. Can you hear it through Discord?
I can hear it through Discord, but I can see it however many seconds later on YouTube.
Oh,
You're not actually
we should
sharing
pay-
it in here, are you?
Well, yeah. Let me fix that so you can see what.
That's the problem. You
Well,
ain't sharing.
You need to tell me what the problem is, otherwise I can't fix it. Sorry, guys out there. Judy says press play, so we have no excuse but to play. So what I'll do
There's
is
1,001
change my.
excuses not to press play.
I'll change my camera, so you should see this camera. There you go, and then you can just make.
There
it
we
bigger.
go.
There you go. I'll leave my feed up, and you can just zoom in on my feed.
Yep, we gotcha.
Okay, back to our friend
The
Lindsay.
Tomb of Illumination. Welcome to any new subscribers. Everything here is about ancient philosophy, ancient knowledge about the spiritual ascension of man and its connection to the flat earth design.
He says it's ancient knowledge, but doesn't he say he's only just discovered this and he's the only one who knows about it?
Yeah, it's actually really rather new knowledge because he's just made it up.
Okay. Let's see.
You won't understand anything until you understand the flat earth design. So check out my previous videos. Today's video is very important for people who want to ascend. That is, go through your spiritual rebirth, the entire meaning to life that's been ignored, hidden from the masses, mainly through this globe model BS. Something very important is, well, first you need to understand the zodiac symbol in connection to the flat earth. The four corners of the earth, it's a divine matter that's to do with the well, it's connected with the cornerstone the builders rejected, for a starter.
I'm glad it's so clear that he doesn't have to pause and think about it. Let's move on.
Which is that those 3 months that you have not passed through during your what's the word? Once you conceived, your ingestion. What's the word? You know what I mean. The 9 months you're in the womb, you're missing that 3 months. That's the corner of the zodiac that you are missing, and it's to do with salts and Santos Benassi will tell you more about that. But anyway,
Oh,
Not that piece of shit.
And when he's not talking about cows and pigs.
Yeah, yeah, and what he does to them.
That's scary if he's talking about him. Get a bit of noise, it's still enough. Okay.
there's also, when they talk about the corners, like, let's draw a picture. So there's your zodiac. Oh, well, I can divide it all up. It's basically the zodiac symbol there, right? Well, we can talk about these as corners, 4 corners, but so you've got the main cardinal directions. Okay? But up here on the 45-ish,
Does cardinal mean anything more than just north, south, east, west that I can think of? Anyway, I'm not quite sure why I had to emphasise cardinal directions.
is what we call the saints. These are the divine points, divine corners. The actual corners.
No.
What?
No. That's why he emphasised cardinal, because he's trying to make the religious link.
Right. Okay.
Involving the spiritual tale of man. Because these, like up here, we're talking between Leo and Virgo. This is all about the Great Pyramid and the Lioness, which directs.
He does know the Bible says very specifically you should not delve into spiritualism and astrology. Sorry, astronomy.
Yeah, I don't think he knows that.
They're pointing at and all this sort of stuff. It's to do with the solar eclipses. So this is Virgo, Virgin Mary. This is the whole Jesus story. Virgo.
What?
And where the moon is. So the moon is the solar eclipse is obviously in the Virgo. at new moon, but then the birth is created at full moon.
Okay, so every solar eclipse is when Virgo is in the sky? I suppose arguably, since Virgo's always in the sky, but visible.
Somewhere. Not mean to say you can see it, but it's there in the sky somewhere.
Yeah. Anyway, visible.
She's come back around the opposite. So the sun will still be in Virgo.
This is more
The moon will be in Pisces, and the Jesus story. That's the divine awakening story. But anyway, once man is awakened, goes through a spiritual rebirth, the ultimate one, the ultimate rebirth, not just waking up to an idea or a flat earth system or anything like that. It's a divine spiritual awakening, and you will know when it happens. So when it does happen, you must go back to that, be in that part of the world the following year in that season. I won't go on into all that, but anyway, what I've just recently had confirmed to me through this book here, because all the information is through all the ancient philosophical stories, myths and legends, right? And the what the ancient Egyptians have left us.
Got to do with
Now what I'm now 100% positive on is the fact that if you do go through your where you are conceived in the world, if you leave that part of the world, you will never gain your spiritual enlightenment.
Oh no.
It's all about the zodiac sign, where the celestial bodies are over the
I can't tell you how upset I am at that news.
at your time of creation.
But
That's your moon sign at conception.
doesn't the position of the constellations move?
Yes.
So how do you determine where you meant to be?
Problem is, astrology hasn't updated itself. The constellations that the various astrological signs are based on have all moved quite a bit since way back when.
Yeah.
And I think there's also another, because there's 12 astrological signs, but I think there's actually 13. But they sort of just got rid of one or something.
They were going to make
off.
one.
I mean, it's
NASA said they weren't going to do it. That's what I heard. There was talk about it, and they said no, we're not making a 13th. I know.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you why I know, because that will spoil my quiz question. Go on.
Oh, so you do remember what's in your quiz then?
That one. One of them.
Some of it, yeah. Well, I mean, obviously this is all bollocks anyway. I mean, astrology is just more made up shit, isn't it?
Yes. Pretty much.
But I don't think the constellations they're not in the same place as when they were when this was all sort of come up with in to begin with.
Well, Mike,
it's just compounded bollocks.
But how do you know which is your part of the world to that constellation? If you can be, particularly as the constellations can be seen from many parts of the world. So anyway, I suppose you'd have to be into astrology to know how that works. Born under a particular star or whatever. But I thought you could be in any part of the world and be born under particular signs, depending on what time of year you're born, not where.
Yeah, because the zodiac constellations are all equatorial. That's why you can see them from either hemisphere.
Yeah. So I thought it was a time of year, not a place. So anyway, that's
that's right.
Trying to work out what he's saying. You have to return back to that place or never leave that place. It's sort of like, what the... Anyway, we'll see what else he's got. Another 10 minutes or so of this.
Being born into the physical world is your sun sign. You've come into the light of the world. So, rebirth is about a realignment. It's to do with a realignment of things that were similar to your conception. But I can tell you straight off that the moon phases.
I don't really want to know about my conception. I don't know anybody who's particularly going to go and ask their parents about it. Anyway, move on.
Yeah,
No, it's
quite.
opposite.
There's some things you just don't need to know.
From your conception to your spiritual birth, but it is in the same moon sign. So, this is probably one of the reasons why immigration is a big thing. You see, the world's run by the Illuminati, the elite Freemasons, right? And they're pushing for all this immigration, because the more you immigrate, the less chance there is of you waking up to the bullshit. The world is full of bullshit. Trust me. Everything you are told
We know.
from your
We keep hearing
government
yours.
is total bullshit. Unless it's to do with a flood down the road and you've got problems, that's obvious physical matter. And your science, your physics is all lies to cover up the actual truth. Science will not associate the zodiac with the earth, and that's basically what it's built on. Everything on earth, every living being is connected with the above, their celestial alignments, sun, moon, the wandering stars, and then there's all these other moons and stars that we do not see, but are in on the whole creation story.
What do you mean we don't see them?
So, like if you read
that's what I'm trying to work out.
the Bible, they go through many names because they're all representing a celestial body, or Plato, or even the Iliad, Homer's Iliad. There's lots of names for these different celestial bodies, and people just read it as a story down here in the physical world.
Is it just... Yeah, I'd have to check the Iliad. I can't say I'm an expert on that one. Anyway, move on.
World. But they're all representing different celestial bodies involved in your spiritual enlightenment. You see that you got the Iliad.
Sorry.
Gives you the whole earthly system, which runs parallel to the man's brain, his system. But then you've got the Odyssey, which is about the person who has received it, the spiritual enlightenment. But no one sees all this stuff. They just see it as violent videos, movies. So I just need to tell you that if you wish to seek spiritual enlightenment in your lifetime, because we go through many lifetimes, reincarnation doesn't mean you come back the same creature. No, but your energy, your detail is recorded in your pineal gland. Like if you go take a pineal gland, there'll be a pineal gland in a cow, right? Well, inside that is its entire history. It may never come to light to a man, even when he's enlightened, but it's all in there, detail. You go through many cycles.
He's on about cows now.
If you're moving around the earth,
Oh, is he having a go at the cows?
away from your conception,
Don't pick on the
place
cow.
of conception,
You know, we'll
you're
turn
never
up.
going to reach enlightenment. I'm 99% sure that is a fact. So, that's
Weird
that
thing.
Something
out
I've
of
just
the way.
made up.
Now,
It's a fact.
Yeah.
There you go.
some of you have been following me would have watched the video of mine how I explain the whole Earth recycling system. How we have the
I did,
hydrogen.
unfortunately.
The human body is made of 84% hydrogen, right? It's in the water.
Wrong.
Is it?
Wrong.
Everything is
Is it
about
really?
water. Our entire creation is about water.
What the?
What the? Because he relates hydrogen equals water, which
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
no, because you said that a few times.
And resonance. It's all sound. Our whole realm involves sound. We are light creatures created from the sound in the water.
What? What?
So
I'm
the
sorry,
recycling
I'm
system
struggling
of
with
Earth
this.
involves the hydrogen molecule.
Well, he's gone a little bit all over more than usual. He's sort of wandered off into all sorts of things. At the moment.
This is the shotgun.
It turns out
approach.
It turns out that by mass, hydrogen is about 9.5% of the human body, not 85%. So you're wrong,
Well,
Lindsay.
he was only at the other end of the scale, wasn't he?
Yeah.
You know, he wasn't that far out. It's just, oh no, yes, he was that far out. Wow.
Oops, sorry. I meant to push play.
Which rises up to the tropical gap. Rises up to the tropical gap, and during the day is dragged through that Milky Way, because the Milky Way loops from the Arctic centre over to the tropics, where we see the sun at our tropic end, but the real sun's back at the other end, the unseen actual plasma. We just see an image over in the tropical zone. There's way more to that though. So that the hydrogen molecules rising up through the tropical zone, being drawn over to the Arctic centre, recycled via the sun, drop back down to the ground as dewdrops into fresh water called the Beaufort Gyre. Below the Beaufort Gyre, it gets sucked down through the earth. That's why there's a big vortex, like a sinkhole, sucks the water down through the subterranean channels through the earth. It goes straight around to the tropical region, and there's water moving around beneath the tropics. The moving water energizes it, builds up high pressure in the molecule, which wants to be released and seek equilibrium. So it wants to seek a lower pressure. So the tropical gap is the lower pressure. So it gets drawn up through there. But anyway, cut the story short, it passes over back through the sun.
Didn't you say that half an hour ago?
Dropped. This is the recycling system.
Yes.
Well, I did that a couple of months ago. I bought this actually probably earlier than that, but I've just started reading it, and we had a 30-hour electrical shutdown. You know, there's no power. So I started reading it, because I bought many of these books. I get them in the local warehouse, and blow me down. Everything I put in my video is all described here.
That's not what you say.
Even the pretty picture.
That's not what you say at all.
You don't take the picture literally, but in a sense you can. All these here are the subterranean aqueducts beneath the Arctic. And look, come out there, say the tropical zone, where it flows to the tropics. Look at the loop back over to the centre Arctic. Even the wording. Some to move between Sletna, the horse, along the trunk. The trunk, they call it, so look at here, was in turn replenished by dewdrops falling from the tree.
Yeah, it's the tree of life. Well, sorry, they call it the Norse tree of life. He's never mentioned it as a tree. It's like anything close to what he's
No, never.
And most of the time it's not even drawn like that.
See, the Arctic centre is known as the tree of life, you see. That's where our vortex is, our entire creation comes from that centre point, which is the hyperboloid, which is expressed out to create the toroidal field that we all dwell in. So we can't get to this area, it's inside the central vortex, the place of inaccessibility above the Arctic. But it's all here. If you want to get this book, read about it.
Where's your rainbow
Well, you
bridge?
haven't.
No, where's your rainbow bridge? It's a big part of the North. So they get from one place to another. Anyway.
You can associate.
I was just about to ask, where's Asgard? Are we on Asgard, or is Asgard somewhere else? Because that's that's part of it. What are we?
One of the 9 worlds.
Yeah, one of the 9 worlds. I forget which one Earth is. Is it Milgard? Can't remember. Anyway,
I can't remember.
I should watch.
I'm not that well clued up on it, to be honest.
I should watch more Marvel. Anyway.
No.
No.
No. They are by and large crap.
Share a lot of the stuff to what I've done in my videos. It's reality. You have to understand the flat Earth system, though. If you understand the flat Earth model, know the flat Earth model, then everything makes sense. You can connect everything to the system. So, what do they call it? This is also associated with the Iliad, the Trojan War, and that sort of thing. Because the Trojan War, I'll put this down there.
Because it's got nothing to do with Norse mythology.
It's about the tropical gap. That's where the dielectric is, and that's where the electromagnetic induction is created from the tropical gap, the dielectric gap.
And what's it got to do with the Trojan Wars?
Up and down in the perimeter, the avoidance zone. This is how you get electromagnetic induction.
Nothing.
I
wouldn't know how this has got anything to do with
but,
the Zodiac.
they're calling it, I think it's Midgard, they call that Midgard and
I think it's all.
Asgard or something over to the tropics.
Oh, we do have the Asgard.
But they're showing you the loop of the Milky Way. I think they call the Milky Way Yggdrasil. The trunk of each creature upon the trunk of Yggdrasil. See, Drasil sounds like Israel. It's in the Bible. Israel.
No.
Oh,
Isis.
God.
Ra.
No.
Elohim.
You're going to try and link Norse mythology to the Bible because you think Yggdrasil sounds a bit like Israel.
Yes, and because Midgard is where the humans live, right, in Norse mythology. So I don't know, he's
right
getting into all the other ones. Oh, he's
going to and you think I should be banned because I dissed Marvel films?
Yeah, why not?
Really? I tried watching Wakanda Forever, and I got about 3/4 an hour in and thought, this is garbage. This is utter garbage.
He wasn't the best, I'll admit that one. I think they are getting
wasn't
worse.
The best.
I will say to you that, yes, I think they have let themselves down with the last lot of films. So,
it all went downhill after Iron Man.
One.
Yes, the first one. They got that right. That was a good film. Then it all sort of slowly started sliding downhill.
I don't know.
Picking up speed as it went.
Guardians of the Galaxy was quite good. I think there was a few in there that were quite good. I don't think.
Yeah, but I tend to look at them as separate films because they are really separate films. I know they're now trying to do lots of crossovers, but
and I don't think
I see them as certainly the first one as a separate entity.
And I don't think any of the Thor films was any good. But anyway, let's get back into Lindsay.
No, they weren't. They all had moments, but you had to watch the entire film to catch that moment, you know. Yeah. Anyway.
So that blew me away. There's the tree. Toroidal field.
No, there's no toroidal field.
But no one's ever... I'm the only person on this earth that's brought up the tropical gap and what's actually happening.
I told you.
This is how you can prove that Earth is flat. Once you understand that system and understand a magnetic field, because a magnetic field doesn't go from north to direct to south. If everything went direct, it'd find equilibrium and all life would cease to exist. So it's total bullshit. The Earth, the spinning ball, and it just goes to show how stupid these physicists are to even think. To even think like that. It's just, I can't figure it out. So,
and yet they can launch things into space and put them in orbit around this and other planets. Yeah, stupid physicists.
Maybe it's got something to do with experiments and testing and seeing how things actually work. And then, yeah.
Well, it's got something to do with reality, which I think Lindsay's never even had the most tenuous of grips on.
Yeah, and I think his vision of magnetics. No, it's a hard thing to put. I always found it hard to put into words, but it's not a magnetic flow. It's like the magnet isn't flowing north to south. That's just the direction of the field. Because that's what he thinks. And I've noticed this, and with some flat earth, it's the same with gravity. They have this sort of idea of gravity as being like this flow of waterfall of stuff falling down, pushing you down onto the earth, which isn't what it is at all. So, which is why they have trouble with the idea that a butterfly can fly, but humans get stuck to the earth. What's next?
Understanding the zodiac in relation to the earth,
I can't. 'cause
Spiritual
you talk
enlightenment.
about it.
the four corners.
You just talk
We're not
about
just
nothing
talking
else.
about these
And you've only got
cardinal
two
directions. We're
corners
talking
on it.
about the actual corner. 4 corners.
It's a quadrant, not a corner.
Very significant. These points here. See, this is the southern hemisphere. Involves the people in the southern hemisphere. This one involves the people in the northern hemisphere. This is about September, just before spring. This one,
What are the other two then?
actually, no, I haven't thought about this too deeply in this video, but it's going like that. This is 17 days before the equinox. This occurs.
Oh dear.
So it's moving that way. It's nothing to do with that. So you've got these, but these are more highlighted, I've noticed, in cultures. So maybe this is the male, for the male, and this is the female, because this is prior to the solstice. This might have something to do with the lunar eclipses.
But they were over the other side before.
And these are the solar eclipses.
Oh, okay.
So they could have the same down here, maybe
It's a
opposites.
bit,
And here we have, ladies and gentlemen,
But there's a
Lindsay
connection here.
making it up
Apparently
on the
there's
hoof.
lunar eclipses involved with solar eclipses, which I haven't looked into yet. But this could be the lunar eclipses, which I think involve something to do with woman's enlightenment. But this is the male enlightenment. The solar eclipses, because the solar is male, the moon is the female, right? The moon is the electron wave. The sun is the positive proton. Realise the planets are just
women are negative.
the focal points, the resting state within inside the highest energy point of a wave. The wave disperses out. Well, that point of divergence is the highest energy zone, which highlights the resting state, which creates like the photon we can see with our pupils. That's where all the resonance is, and now we're tuned to that point. That's why we see an image.
What?
Okay, I've stretched that video out enough. We'll leave it at that, shall we?
Absolutely
Cheers,
no
guys.
sense whatsoever.
Thanks for watching. Thumbs up or likes. And share it if you can.
Oh,
People need to find the truth.
You
Seek and you shall
you
find.
didn't put that on Lindsay's speed, did you?
No, I should.
no, we've listened to that at normal speed.
You've listened to the whole 19 minutes 53 seconds at normal speed, plus the interruptions.
Wow, that was. Does he even know where the zodiac signs come from? Does he know who dreamt them up?
No, of course
No.
not.
So, Lindsay, for 10 points, have you ever heard of the Babylonians before? And there were indeed 13 constellations, but the Babylonians liked 12,
okay.
so they dropped one. Yes. Well, where do we get the 12-month calendar from? The Babylonians. There were 12 zodiac signs, one per month. There were actually constellations. They did actually have 13, but 13 didn't work, so they dropped it.
I'm trying to see. There's
Oh, it's
12,
all-
12 Chinese constellations. So I was just curious. Anyway, go on. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, they're all bollocks.
Yeah.
Yeah, because as has been pointed out, there should actually be a 13th zodiac sign. There's even a name for it. Ophiuchus. That slots in November and December. But that means you then have to redo all the other ones to get 13 signs in a 365-day year. You know.
Well, it could be worse.
Well,
the
they
Chinese
are.
are. Go on, Dal. Go.
So I was just going to say there are 13 lunar cycles in a year. They're just about.
Yes. Yes. But the Babylonians didn't like 13.
No.
So,
because their number system was base 60.
yes. 13 doesn't fit in with them.
I just had a look on Chinese constellation. Apparently, there's 283 asterums.
Greedy buggers.
Asterums apparently a smaller thing than a constellation. But anyway, yeah. Would make it easier, because rather than, defining just 12. I'm so-and-so. Oh, I've never heard of that. Oh, well, they're really smart and intelligent. Oh, right, okay, if you say so. I'm not going to bother to look it up.
Oh, and the other thing, when he kept emphasising cardinal and trying to give it a religious thing, yeah, it's 14th century Latin. It means principal, chief, or essential. That's why we have cardinal numbers and ordinal numbers. 1 is a cardinal number, first is an ordinal number. It's got no, and the cardinal points, they date from the mid-1500s. It's got nothing to do with religion whatsoever.
Yes, that's right.
Because you had 4 basic directions, north, south, east, and west, so they were known as the cardinal points.
Yeah, that's right. It's more of a mapping thing.
And of course, cardinal just happened to get used as a word within religion as well. But we all know that these idiots can't cope with a word having more than one meaning or definition.
No.
Sea level.
Yes. Sea level. Or just
That's
level.
not what level means. Well, it's one of the, it's one of the meanings
many.
of the word level.
One many of the word level.
That was really sort of that was a scattergun approach even for Lindsay.
Yeah, that's a bit all over the place, that one. What else have I got? We got Matt hiding out in the chat. He's not coming in. Let's get him on.
Yeah, well, if you see his explanation in Discord, I'm not surprised.
Oh, okay. Hang on, I can see this.
He's got his kids with us as well. 5 of us in a 3-bedroom house. Yeah.
Oh, but if you put
not conducive to a quiet place.
if you can give them all a computer, then I can get 5 views. That would be good.
Oh dear.
No, that would.
What, just have it running in the background whilst I do something else.
Looks like Terry's still crook. We don't know what's up with Terry. Just for anyone who's listening, we'll see.
No, he's signed out from Discord now. So
yeah, he did say he's crook, like he has been crook, but I haven't heard anything recently. So that's why we're running the stream. Otherwise, I did have a few. I thought I might have a few things put up just in case. So I'm going to listen to an Everett. I got a few Everetts, but we might intersperse them with some other things. So this one is on Flat Earth Crayon Munchers. I don't know if anyone's seen this one. I haven't.
I think I've caught up with him. I don't know. I can't remember.
Oh, well, yeah. Let's see. Get on with it. We've seen her before.
We live in what I believe is like a dome or like a bubble, okay?
Why don't you forego this foolishness and submit yourself for observation? Once rehabilitated, I'm sure you will become a valuable member of the community.
I also believe that the earth is round but flat, depending on how you look at it.
The autonomic functions continue. But there is no mind.
And that the stars, lights, and moons is basically just a light literally like inside shining.
Right. Yes, well, that... Well...
I would think it's more complicated, of course, because God made it, and of course, can't fully grasp that.
Oh, yes, of course. How very, very awful.
Yes.
I also believed that the earth is actually being held by pillars or some sort of rock to hold it up.
Well, that's a new one.
Why not?
I would like to show y'all my own understanding and drawing that I made of what I believe and what I think to understand is how the earth looks.
Yes.
Quiet.
Can't wait for this.
This is going to be a disaster.
So this is what I believe the Earth is pretty much looks like.
The fuck is that?
This is up here would be its receptacle, like a window. I could be wrong in placement of where this is. It could be on the sides.
What's the fucking difference? Well, that's what I said.
But what the receptacle basically is where our seasons, weather, all that, and where the stars and moon, the lights of it would come from.
It's a weather machine.
Makes perfect sense.
And these are the pillars that would hold up the Earth.
I see. No, I don't.
Why do they need to hold up the Earth if it's floating?
This is hell.
Yeah.
Hell is like actually really under us. Miles under. Miles.
Good to know.
And if you can see it, my yellow lines.
I actually don't think it says hell is underneath us in the Bible, but anyway, okay, move on.
It's nice. That looks awfully like the Jewish depiction of where we live, doesn't it?
Well, it would, because it's basically a retelling of chapter 2 of Genesis. Yeah. So, anyway. Yeah. Oh, no, sorry, I just realised she's got Enoch versus... Oh, dear.
Yes. Lots of Enoch quotes there.
Enoch. There's a reason why they stopped using Enoch 500 years ago. Yeah.
These are what I understand to be how the sun and the moon rotate.
Why?
And all the blue around would be water because God separated the waters from below and the waters from above. That is why there's water above and below.
Well, it appears science has faltered once again in the face of overwhelming religious evidence.
I could never understand the people who follow the water below, because they're saying there is no bottom of the ocean, because that's basically what you have to believe, because it says that the lands float upon the waters. So, anyway.
Yeah, that just doesn't make sense.
What it actually says, but they like to often get skipped, but that's actually what it says, is the waters were below and the land floats upon the water. So, yeah. Which we know.
Ah, the mighty bosom, the heaving bosom of the deep.
Yeah.
As our favourite young instructor always says.
Boom. Ooh. Let's pause that. What else we got? I did put a couple of things together. Oh, it's Blue. I can hear Blue's sultry voice.
Nerp. Nerp. Nerp, derpy, derp.
Derpy, derp.
Derpy, 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 derp. Derp.
Yep. Plenty of that round here, mate.
That's what
Keep that up and I'll think I'm on Bev's channel again.
No, if this was Bev's channel, we'd be ever so insulting in the side chat.
We would be. Oh, we've got Clive Wells out there. G'day, Mr. Wells. How you going? Good. We've got someone here that might be able to answer Paul's questions for his quiz later.
As long as somebody can.
But sometimes get right.
Hey, look, most of us can when we get down to the last clue.
Last clue, you can get
Although
something.
not every time, obviously.
Not every time. Oh, look at even Paul's given
I need
a scientist of the week. I'll read it out. Today's scientist is an Irish physicist whose theorem was validated by Clauser, Aspects and Zellinger. Get that right. Which won them the Nobel Prize? He is J.S.B. See how people can get that answer. I might have to think about getting.
Yeah, it's a
Zoom.
pretty easy. It's a pretty easy one today.
Yeah, I might have to think about getting Zoom. We can do Zoom, but we'll keep it going as it is. Let's see. I could do Google Foo, but while they're doing that, I'm sure someone else can Google Foo, and Clive can just tell us the answer. Let's see. What else have I got queued up here? Let me see the tunes. Laws on Fluff, which was more to contribute to. Have a talk to those, see if we agree.
Hello, I'm MC Toon.
Hello, MC Toon. How are you? How about I put you out here so you can see? That's MC Toon. He's gone blind. I'm still yet to see proof that MC Toon has legs. He tells me he has legs. He's given examples of the use of them, but I've yet to see them. So,
no, we have seen them on. We have seen them on stream.
Have you?
He did a cold moonlight test, didn't he?
No, I looked at that and you couldn't see it.
We
It
saw
was
him
in the
standing
dark.
up on that.
Oh, did you? Because I'm sure it was in the dark and I never actually saw him stand up. I gotta admit, I didn't watch every second of that one, so you could be right. I did directly ask him when I was one of the call-in shows, and he talked about his not karate, I think it was, or taekwondo, one of those things, and having to do the kicks to win the belts. So, John, we've got an answer. Blue Marble believes it's John Stuart Bell.
And it is indeed John Stuart Bell. Yeah.
There you go, Blue. Right, first try.
And I've been dealing with flat earthers online for about 5 years now.
Actually, I wanted to ask, so he's been on for 5 years, so how long have you been on, Phil, Blue?
Almost 4, I think.
Almost 4. What about you, Alan? You've been around for a while. And
I've been around about that long, maybe a fraction long. 2018-ish. When I started actually joining in streams rather than just watching stuff.
So, who here has been around the longest Flat Earth wise? Would that be yourself? What about?
I started about late 16, early 17.
So that puts you ahead of Alan.
Because I joined Gem's server when it was created, so I'm pretty early on in that. And I joined that in January 2018. And I reckon I was online for about a year on Nathan's channel before that. So,
because I got the impression there was a bit of a surge, which obviously I missed with YouTube videos on Flat Earth around mid 2010s. I don't know if that's true. That was just my impression. I'll Google food.
yeah, around about 2012. Yeah. Yep.
Interesting.
Whenever the P900 came out.
That was the instigator. We can blame Sony.
Yeah, this whole thing is a plot by Nikon.
Well, it's done them very well.
I did hear that
looking for a true conspiracy. It's Nikon and their goddamn P900.
I did hear someone say that the Flat Earthers believe that's the only one that doesn't have microchips in it.
Well, the camera that is all microchips.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing but.
Oh, hang on. Dora's reckon I'll have a look at that in a little bit, Dora. I think Dora's got proof for me. Okay, let's see what Toon's got to say.
And there's a few things that I've noticed about them that are absolute. Things that are never, there's no exceptions for them. And in science, these things that for which there is no exception for, that is a consistent thing that's always observed. We don't necessarily know why, but we know that it happens and it always happens. We call these a law. So there are three in particular that I've identified over these 5 years, and I just call them the laws of Flurf. So the first one is that Flurf citations always contradict the Flurf's claims. Now, that's so fun because when in a debate, they'll make a claim, and rarely will they ever try to support their claim. But when they do, you can be assured that every single time when you actually analyze the stuff that they send you, it will contradict them. For example, a flat earther might talk about the galactic rotation problem, where the amount of mass in a galaxy isn't quite predicted by the visible matter and gravity together. So let's see that. You have the Earth being a globe, spinning, orbiting the sun orbiting our galaxy center, and then we look many, many light years away to a galaxy where there's a little bit of a problem with the amount of rotation that we're seeing there. Well, that requires the Earth to be a globe and to be rotating and orbiting the sun. And a flat earther will actually bring that up in an argument trying to support their claim. But all that requires that the Earth is a globe first. That totally contradicts their claim. And think about this. If they are faking it, why would they fake that? That doesn't... They would fake things working, not things being confusing. But anyway, in the end, it's just the edges of science are places where we're figuring things out. It's no surprise. We don't understand everything. And there are things that we're trying to figure out. That's one of them. So if you have any examples of Flurf citations that contradict them, you too can participate in documenting the actual process of or the exploration of this particular law of Flurf. And this will be done on the Flurf Wiki site. So if you actually just Google Flurf Wiki, you'll find it. It's a Wikimedia site that I created, and anybody is free to edit it. It's best if you create an account there, because accounts that are real accounts instead of just anonymous ones will get better. We know who you are, right? If it's just an IP address, well, that's the sign of somebody trying to deface the site, and it's likely that it might be undone because it's untrustworthy.
Dora does a lot of work on that side, I've seen. So she'd be an expert.
Oh, does she?
Yeah, don't you, Dora? Yeah. Well, I've seen a name on there a fair bit, so.
Anyway, create an account, go there. It's a community managed site. So go ahead, do that. I will put my first examples for each of these on there. And I'll include a link in the description to the site and the particular page on the laws of Flurf. So number 2 is Flurf challenges are fake. All of them. Every single challenge that they've ever issued is fake.
I don't see many challenges anymore. I gotta admit. So I'll just forward this. We get this one. Yeah. When I first came in, whatever it was, about 2 years ago, I suppose, there was quite a few challenges, but I can't say you see many challenges anymore. But I think that's because, they're never paid out, so no one pays them any attention anymore. So.
And when the independent judging process determined that the globe had won, well, John Hampton had a fit and spent years complaining about it. In fact, even spending time in jail for libel or slander of Wallace. But since then, they've all been fake. William Voliva in Zion, Illinois, had a fake challenge. And more recently, Flat Out Hero had a challenge here. I did it, $100,000. He eventually pretended to agree, but I have it on video that he agreed. Anyway, that was a fake challenge. Everybody saw that. And the most well-known fake challenge is Dearth's 3 Bitcoin fake challenge. And the way that you know it's a fake challenge is, what are the clear, objectively measurable criteria? None. There are several people that have submitted responses to his challenge. He doesn't even respond to them. He just ignores them, pretends they didn't even submit the answer. It's a fake challenge. So documentation of your examples of fake challenges can be shared on the Flurf Wiki. The third, and you'll see this, the third law of Flurf is that Flurfs are pseudoscientists when evaluating flat Earth evidence, and science deniers when evaluating globe evidence. That shows that they have a dual standard of evidence. Anything at all that even remotely seems to them to support their idea of flat Earth, they will accept unquestioningly.
Sorry, tuned. I think you get the gist. I think that's as far as he gets. My question was, did we? I'm just double checking, but I'm pretty sure he only had the 3. Is there another rule? Because I thought 3 was a bit small. Must be better. Any other ideas?
What, other than the standard got a lie to Flurf?
Well, that was one I was surprised wasn't in there, because that's maybe he's trying not to cover everything, but yeah, I thought that was a bit surprising. It seems a pretty normal one, almost automatic. And the other one was the Flurf reset. Seems to be pretty common.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah. You think you're underway, and then next time you talk to him, it's like everything he said last time is completely gone. Don't remember any of it. Yes. So, okay. That was a bit flat, that video, I've got to admit. I thought it might have been more in it, but it ended up being a bit... Yes. What's the word on Terry? We haven't heard much on Terry. It's still the same news from last week. He's been a bit crook, so he's been not feeling like streaming. That's about all we know at the moment. I've got a few other details, but I won't go into that. I don't know. But when I say by that, I don't know what Terry has, like what he's crook with or anything. So he's just unwell. I'll flick back to here for a sec. Okay, Dora was very kind.
It's not right. Please check.
Pause that for a sec. Dora was very kind and gave me evidence.
Called a scanning transmission electron microscope, or STEM. And today I'm going to show you exactly how this works. So my last microscopy video was making a plate.
Well, you don't want to know microscopy. I don't know how I got to that. I think that's what happens when you click on stuff. Where are we? This one.
Yeah.
Anyway, let me just flick this over here for us. So, Dora does have proof he has legs, so therefore I am wrong. There you go.
It's dangerous. I did bring a very.
I have to do some video analysis of this. And
so, all right, I'm gonna.
Whether
what I'm
this
gonna
is
do
not
is I'm gonna
just
turn around so you
CGI.
can kind of see what we're doing, and then.
Because he does have to cut to another camera.
No, they're not mini tunes. They're people that came.
Oh no!
They're actual like.
Hang on. Where are you? He was there a second ago. It's about 3. There he is in the background.
Oh yes, legs and everything.
No, that's not him. See, that's not him.
That's his stunt double.
That's his stunt double. Dude, stunt double. I think
no family of mine was interested. So you can.
I think it's here. Here we go. We'll see him with legs in a sec. Where to show himself?
There you can see camera here, not hooked up yet. You've got table and the big moon shade, and you can see the moon back there even. The moon is going to be going across the sky that direction. This way is south. So that's due east. Or not quite due east. There you go. We've got the all-important
Still no
infrared
legs.
thermometer. So anyway, enjoy watching the setup.
This is where he cuts to the CGI footage.
Ah, right.
Yeah, so there it is, CGI. That's it. Okay, proof it. He has legs. Okay, I'll have to admit defeat. Is that, or I could cut out those. What is it, about 11 frames?
What defeat on the end of D legs?
Cut out the 11 frames of legs to prove.
I think you need to cut out more than 11 frames of that one. Yeah. But then deny you cut the frames out, then admit that you did cut the frames out, and then come up with a bullshit reason as to why you had to cut the frames out. Hey, Flatsoid.
Something like that. How am I going? How many people we got watching? I'm just checking. Just give me a sec to check. I think
8. Apparently.
8. How you feeling, Paul? You want to do your quiz? Or
I'm not sure how it'll work, though. I mean, how am I going to share it?
Ah, shit, yeah.
okay. So
It's easier in Zoom, isn't it?
You can just share.
It is much easier in Zoom.
It is much easier. You could share your screen in Discord, and I can put that up. Or how about I set up a... We'll come back to that. I'll set up a Zoom, and we'll do it that way. But in the meantime, let's put on this, while I do that, this another of Everett Anderson's videos.
Based on the perspective of the viewer.
Really?
Is the back door locked?
Yes. We love you, Dad.
I love you too.
Go watch a sunrise from the beach, and it appears to come up over the water, over the horizon, and rise.
Well, get over it!
Liar.
Now, go to a hotel, go about 10 stories up, and then watch that same sunrise the next day, and it doesn't rise.
Smoking the pot now, are we? Sucking on the devil's cigarette. That must be why you're not the crispiest chip in the bag.
You'll just be watching as the sky gets lighter, and then all of a sudden the sun just comes into view once it gets close enough.
Well, isn't that special?
This is not about understanding math.
They're doing homework right now, and it's that math trigonometry thing that you and I just aren't very good at.
So you are saying when you go outside and get elevation angles, you're doing so from that curved surface.
Baldric, the ape creatures of the Indus have mastered this. Now try again.
What I'm saying is replicate that. Build a model that you can then replicate this claim in the real world.
Yes. To you, Baldric, the Renaissance was just something that happened to other people, wasn't it?
So the accepted model of the oblate spheroid has been falsified.
Muy comico! Dios freaking mio!
So you don't have a model.
We are not the ones asserting that the earth is spinning when you can go outside and obviously see that the earth is stationary.
Yo comprendo que ustedes beben tequila, woo! Fuman marijuana, y bailan el flamenco.
We are also not the ones asserting that the Earth is a ball or a sphere or an oblate spheroid or anything other than just a flat plane. When it's obvious, you go out and you measure a flat plane.
Absolute 1,000,000% bullshit. Bullshit.
We'll drop 2 somethings. Are you ready? Where'd gravity go? It's just density, guys.
Seriously?
I'm just saying it appears that Earth is flat. And trying to figure shit out.
Well, that and a nickel will get you a hot cup of Jack Squat.
There you go.
Yes.
Alan, well, actually, I posted a few reviews anyway. But Alan, can you post that in? Are you able to get into Special Place to post that link to Zoom?
Let me.
I put in your Discord DM and.
No, only Terry can do it. Terry decided
Okay.
that only Terry could put stuff in the special place.
Okay, I just didn't want to post it out to everybody, but I have posted it in your DM, so it's in Paul's, and I've got to put in Paul's and Farmers. I'll put it in.
Yeah, I'm just getting in now. Oh, I better come out of here.
I'll give it to Blue, just in case he wants to join.
Oops. Got the shave this morning. Never mind.
And I'll put Zoom up. Oh, there we go. I see. We've got Alan. We've got Farmers. Let me switch the YouTube over to Zoom. There we go. Yeah, I should hear you. Tell me out in the chat if you can't hear us. Should do. Can you hear me in Zoom?
Yeah.
Good. Nah.
No, I can't hear you.
Can't hear me? Good.
I can't hear you. Of course I can't. What? I just thought to myself, I don't know what's going on.
Let me just mute myself out.
I blame Lindsay. He melted my brain this morning.
Fair enough.
That was, even for Lindsay, that was
over the top, wasn't it? Ah, dear.
When he's standing there, then he's doing this little drawing, and he goes, no, hang on a minute, that's not right. Yeah, come on, you're making it up on the fly, and that's difficult.
No, well, yeah, that one, he just, yeah, that was a bit weirder than usual.
Yeah.
Okay, so, nominate Discord, let's get rid of that one. We're all visible, so I think, Paul, if you want to share your stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
We should be able to see it.
I'll do that then.
Hello, you're through to IT support. Have you tried turning it off and turning it on again?
It says host disabled participant sharing.
Have I?
Ah.
Okay. Let me see.
We're nearly there.
Nearly there.
Host, where do I do that? Where's the settings gone? I know it's here somewhere. There's audio settings, video settings. Where's settings? I know there's a settings buttons here somewhere. Security. Suspend participant activities. No, we don't want to do that. Allow participants to share screen. That's what we want, isn't it? So there you go. Try now.
That's the one.
For some reason, it's the only one that's not ticked by default.
Oh dear. Okay. Is that working?
Appears to be. Although the other guys say needs to stay there and test for a little bit. It's a little bit slower than usual. Is that just me or?
Maybe it's slow just for you, Timbo. No implication there.
None at all.
All right then. Are you ready for a quiz?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's see if I can answer at least
Okay.
one question this week.
This is the easy hard quiz.
Ah.
All right. Question 1. In addition to position and momentum, there is an uncertainty relation between energy and this quantity, which is represented by the y-axis of the quantity.
Y-axis, the quantity. Oh, Clive's already got an answer.
Huh?
Clive's already got an answer.
Clive has already got an answer. Is he correct?
Oh, I can't answer that because I'm
Probably.
uncertain.
Probably.
We'll give you some other clues anyway. This quantity names a constant symbolized tau that equals the product of resistance and capacitance for an RC circuit.
Not that tau.
Not that tau.
Alan
Good.
probably is familiar with that one. Yeah. One consequence of special relativity that was proven by the Eve-Stilwell experiment is the dilation of this quantity, whose SI unit is defined by the cesium-133 atom. It's becoming pretty obvious now, isn't it? That Clive is indeed right.
Correct.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. One of the kinematic equations states the product of acceleration in this quantity equals the change in velocity. It is. Name this quantity whose SI unit is seconds. It is indeed time.
Even for
And that is indeed taken from Pink Floyd's Time video.
It is.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I was quite surprised that even with the 20 seconds today, how quickly Clive got that answer.
All right. Cool. Question 2. The 99s is an organisation of women who operate these things. That group was founded after the 1929 Powder Puff Derby. What are these things?
That rings
Never
a bell.
heard of that one.
Rings a bell, but I'm not. The 99 rings a bell. I'm not sure about the Powerpuff Derby. Okay. Good time for my internet to
Oh, by the way, I don't have the Discord. I don't have the Zoom internal chat up, so you guys can just answer in the peanut.
Oh, okay.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll do that. That's all right. So you missed all that. You missed
Samuel-
all that correct answer.
Samuel Pierpont Langley created numerous early versions of these things in the early 1900s. What did he create? The largest operational one of these things was made entirely of birchwood, which belies its nickname, the Spruce Goose. That should give it away.
Yeah.
What is it?
Well, I know what the Spruce Goose was.
It's a plane, yeah.
It flew once.
Yeah. The first of these things was tested at Kitty Hawk, North Carolina.
Yeah.
That should give it away.
Powered plane, even.
The Spirit of St. Louis was what kind of vehicle? The first successful one of which was designed by the Wright brothers. It was indeed, of course, aeroplanes or airplanes. Airplanes, as the Americans call them.
Arguably, by the Wright was the first done by the Wright brothers. But anyway,
Successful one.
Now, I think
Powered one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, matey boy who flew in the Spirit of St. Louis, whose name was just bloody escaped me, Lindbergh.
Charles
wasn't it?
Lindbergh.
No.
Yeah.
How the bloody hell did he see where he was going?
His name was bloody escaped me. That's a weird name.
Yeah, well, he later changed it. He later changed it to Charles Lindbergh, but to begin with,
okay.
it was his name bloody escapes me. How did he?
Yeah.
How did he see where he was going? Because if I recall, and that picture I think sort of provides the evidence that it didn't actually have a canopy looking forward.
Everything was in the way.
I mean, I know a lot of the older aircraft, the dirty great big engine up front, and they were tail sitters. When you were taxiing, you couldn't actually see where you were going, but he just literally couldn't see in front of him. There was no window.
No, I just
So you can't even roll down the window and look out the side.
That's it. Lean that side with your arm out the window. Oh, where am I going? Yeah. I suppose once he was airborne, it didn't really matter because you were flying on instruments anyway. But bloody hell!
Okay, question 3. Giovanni de Dolci served as chief architect of this building, work on which began around 1473. Which building?
I don't know what it's called.
Possibly. Yeah, that'd be my guess.
Not the Vatican. No.
Oh, okay.
20 ignudi that decorate this structure are festooned with acorns, a reference to the fact that the family name Rovere means oak in Italian.
God.
It's not the
Famous
Vatican.
Italian buildings for 500.
Yes. Botticelli's Temptation of Christ and Trial of Moses decorates the northern and southern walls in this place. Not the Tower of Pizza. Not even the Tower of Pisa.
Tower of Pizza. Yeah, make mine extra cheese, please. Yeah.
Yeah. I think
its name derives from its creation by Sixtus IV.
No.
Not the Great Italian Wall, no.
I think I know which one it is.
I think...
Oh, yeah, it could be.
The most famous image of this place depicts God reaching his right hand out towards Adam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right there, Timbo and Clive. It is indeed the Sistine Chapel. Michelangelo painted frescoes on the ceiling of what papal chapel? The Sistine Chapel.
You threw me for a sec when you said not the Vatican, because initially I was thinking this, but this is not the Vatican.
It's not.
Yes,
No.
it's not.
It's definitely not. Question 4. This composer described with frustration a walk in the woods during which a student remarked on a shepherd's nearby flute playing in a document he titled the Heiligenstadt Testament. Who was this? This composer wrote 10 violin sonatas, of which the best known are the Spring and Kreutzer. Who is it?
I can bloody hear it. Who bloody did that?
This composer's piano sonatas include 2 nicknamed Appassionata and Waldstein, as well as the one that got his nickname from a critic saying it reminded him of a nighttime reflection on Lake Lucerne. Who is it? It is not Vivaldi.
Is it not? I thought he did Spring.
What classical composer used Schiller's poem Ode to Joy in his Ninth Symphony, which was first performed when he was mostly deaf?
Oh, yeah. Him. I put it right there when you
Yeah. We've got Timbo with Beethoven and Dora with Bach.
I'd go with
Beethoven.
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 Yeah, Beethoven.
Beethoven.
But Clive Wells, multi-tom-tom.
I don't think so. It was indeed Ludwig van Beethoven. Yeah.
Yes. No. It's Beethoven. Come on, it's Beethoven.
Beethoven. Yeah.
Beethoven.
And just to go back to Timbo's earlier question about what got me into doing flat Earth stuff.
Yeah.
The very first time I went on any stream or anything was supposedly to go up against multi-tom-tom in a discussion about radio navigation systems, and he's been dodging me for nearly 5 years now.
Well, of course he has.
I haven't even heard of him.
Marty Tom, he's not been around for a while. I have to admit, I've not seen him for a.
He's not the sharpest tool in the shed, right?
No.
Question 5. If the smallest edge of a Kepler triangle is 1, then the hypotenuse equals the square of this number. What is this number? What is a Kepler triangle?
Well, that's the salient question. What the chuff nuts is a Kepler triangle?
Yeah. Nerd alert says 5. No.
Oh, he's deleted that, so it's obviously
Yeah.
wrong.
A continued fraction comprised only of ones can be used to express this number. What is this number? Not 1.414. A regular pentagon whose side length is 1 will have diagonals with a length of this irrational number, which is also a positive solution to the equation x squared minus x minus 1 equals 0. We have some answers out there in the chat. Is it phi? Is it the golden ratio? Or 1 plus the square root of 5 divided by 2? In fact, all of those will be the correct answer. Consecutive numbers in the Fibonacci sequence converge to this value, which is approximately 1.618 and symbolized phi. It is indeed the golden ratio. Name this number that is equal to 1 plus the square root of 5, all divided by 2. It is the golden ratio.
Oh, right, okay.
Well,
Sure, I've heard of it before, but
well, that's what they use to define the paper sizes. A1 and B1, well, A0 and B0, but using different methods, which is why you got different sizes.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Question 6. Zoroastrianism is the only major religion that bans this practice, fearing it hampers the fight against evil. What did they ban? Not burial, not dancing. No. Mormons engage in this action on the first Sunday of each month and often use that occasion to allow members to give testimonies. Not prayer, not marriage. Not flat smacking or flurfism.
Come on, this is religion. It could be anything.
Jesus told followers to anoint their heads and wash their faces, as they usually would while doing this, so as not to advertise their austerity.
Oh, I know what that is then. It's that one. Except Judy got there before me.
Not baptism, Timbo.
No, the one Judy said.
Oh, the one after.
Yeah.
The one Judy said is correct. It is indeed fasting, yeah. Jesus did this for 40 days in the wilderness while resisting the devil. What action do Muslims engage in from dawn to dusk during Ramadan? It is indeed fasting. Yeah.
Well, if that's fasting, I'm sticking with slowing.
Yeah.
Fasting, you wouldn't be doing that in fasting.
Question 7. Jean-Francois Blanchard and Jean Jeffries accomplished this feat by means of a hot air balloon in 1785. What did they do?
Oh, I suspect they...
Not skydiving.
They crossed...
Oh, excuse me. I believe my drugs are here.
Gold medalist Gertrude Edel was the first woman to do this without the assistance of a vessel, completing it in just over 14 hours. Crossed somewhere? Yeah, possibly. Where?
oh, yeah. I know where.
In 1909, Louis Blériot was the first to use a plane to accomplish this feat. Not crossing the Mediterranean. Frankie Zapata accomplished this feat in the summer of 2019 in just over 20 minutes, having to land once on a platform to refuel. Zapata used a hoverboard to accomplish what action, departing from Sangatte in France and landing in Dover in England. It was, of course, as you say, crossing the English Channel. Yeah.
Oh, Clarkson in his Hilux.
Yes.
That's one of the best episodes they ever did.
I have finished watching Clarkson's Farm Series 2, Farmer's Boy, but I won't give anything away in case you haven't.
No,
finished.
I've got 2 episodes left to go. I've been pacing myself because I didn't want. I could have easily binged it all in one go and then gone.
Yeah.
Damn it.
I won't say anything then.
Okay then.
Simon Vandermeer and a man from this country discovered the W and Z bosons. What country? A mathematician from this country names the theorem that states it is possible to compute a double integral using the iterated integrals.
Really? No, that's nice.
It's nice.
What?
Still don't know what country.
Just in case you wanted to know, yeah. A
fair.
physicist from this European
it's
country
Lindsay.
names the National Accelerator Laboratory near Chicago and produced the first controlled nuclear chain reaction. What country? Not Hungary, not New Zealand, it wasn't Lindsay, not Switzerland, not Wakanda. Oh dear. Fubini. Oh dear.
Let's put out English.
Another scientist from this country was the first to transmit wireless signals across the Atlantic Ocean, but did not actually invent the radio. What country? Name this country that was the birthplace of Enrico Fermi and Guglielmo Marconi. It was, as Judy said, Italy. Yeah.
It's Venice.
Italy is the correct answer. Yeah.
It's good because
your penultimate question.
Oh, get in there.
It's not nudity, but in 2016, a Jain sect unsuccessfully petitioned the Indian government to allow their priests to continue engaging in this practice outside after it was banned. What practice is this? I'm interested to see how people are going to tell me this answer. Not flat smacking. In the Christian Bible, Tobit was blinded by this action done by birds.
I haven't heard that one. I don't know that one. I'll have to look that one up now. Well, not maybe not later.
There we go.
The alert and Farmer's Boy say pooping.
Pooping. Just try to be more polite about it.
Yeah, certain adults suggest leaving with the right foot after taking this action. A washing that accompanies this action is called the isthenia. Yeah.
Armageddon, anal sunning.
Valentinus claimed that despite having a physical body, Jesus never engaged in this action, which was seen as unclean. Name this action necessary a while after eating food. It is indeed, as Farmer's Boy and Noodle had said, it is
Pooping.
Defecating or pooping.
That's something the Queen never did as well. She
yeah,
never
that's
did it,
right.
yeah.
And if she did, it never stank.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, what did the position of the royal stool do then?
It wasn't that sort of stool.
The groom of the stool.
Stool. Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of.
This man recited the spoken word piece "We Came in Chains" on the Ed Sullivan Show in 1970. He had been performing that piece in a Broadway musical titled Buck White, while suspended from his primary profession. Who is it? That suspension came after he noted that no Viet Cong had ever called him the N-word in explaining his refusal to be drafted.
Oh,
that rings
I think I
a
know.
bell. Can't put, that rings a bell, but I can't put a bloody name to it.
I think
This man won the Rumble in the Jungle against George Foreman and the Thriller in Manila against Joe Frazier. Who was it? Yeah, you got it all right. Yeah. Muhammad Ali, or as Nerdler put it, Cassius Clay, which was his actual name. Yeah.
Yes.
What activist and heavyweight champion abandoned the name Cassius Clay when he joined the Nation of Islam? It was indeed Muhammad Ali. Yeah.
Float like I used to watch his
Float
cartoon.
like a butterfly.
He had a cartoon series.
Yeah.
Was it?
Well, there you go.
Oh,
that
yeah,
was your
yeah.
quiz for
Well done,
Tuesday.
Paul.
Oh, thank you very much. That wasn't
That was very
quite as
too
painful
hard.
as some of them have been.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it was the easy hard. That was the easy hard quiz.
Yeah, because some of them are just physics, electronics, computing, and it's just like, yeah, I'll just piss off for 20 minutes, you know. There are some subjects I just don't touch. Got no limits.
Yes. Dora's having a go at my. I just started trying to type Cassius and just went.
Well, there's some words that you don't necessarily can't spell, but you can't stop spelling them. A bit like banana, nana. That just goes on.
It was like, I don't think I've ever written Cassius before, and I'm trying to think, okay, it's got letters and A's in it somewhere, and maybe an I. After that, I just got mixed up. Anyway.
Yeah.
Ah, dear. Thanks for that, Paul. That was very good. Yes, it was an easy hard quiz, but still good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good mix, that.
Well, I've got some. Where's my list of streamed up videos? Let's see what else we've got. Actually, now I've got to work out how to.
A bit lost today. There's no rugby.
No rugby. Well, they
take a break because they've just played 2 weekends, and then of course they have a break because it's a bit strenuous, is old rugby.
Yeah.
Yes.
All that money they get paid, they ought to be able to play a little bit more regularly than once a week.
What do you mean, all that money?
Oh, that's footballers, isn't it?
It's footballers that get paid ridiculous amounts of money. Professional rugby players, no, not the merest fraction of what footballers get. Because footballers just supposed to spend most of their time pretending to get tackled and rolling around on the floor pretending to be hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite.
Whereas rugby players are like, look, I'll just wipe the blood out of me. I'm fine. Just let me keep playing.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to say, footballers, for the amount of money they get paid, ought to be playing 2 professional matches a day, 7 days a week.
Yeah.
You'd think so, yeah. Ooh, we're up to 14 viewers. Okay. Oh, now I've got to see. How do I get this over here? Now that I'm back into Zoom. I had myself all set up for Discord. Now I've got to do things differently. If I go to I'm just trying to work out, is it better to share my screen or whether you can see my camera? No, you can't see my camera. Let's fix it so you can see my camera. You could just make me bigger. No, I'll share. That'll work. That'll work. Let's see. Here we go.
We can put you front and center if you just share your camera.
Yeah, we can pin you.
Yeah.
Well, we have
Well,
to.
let's do that.
But if you want,
let's do that. It's easier, I think. I just need to change which camera's showing up in Zoom. Go to that one. There you go. And now I just need to do that so we can see our friend.
Hello, wonderful business.
Wonderful people. Let's see here. See what he's got today. Make it bigger.
Me. But who?
Oh, hang on a sec. Tap back there.
A wonderful person, this is Anton, and there's someone really important talking right behind me. But who exactly is this? And why is he so important? I actually wonder how many of you will know exactly who this is.
Okay. How many people know who that is? Anyone?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Even though I did see the name at the bottom of the thing, I still knew who it was.
All right. Yes. Yes, we've got a few people.
It
said it twice.
The best bang since the last one. What?
Yeah.
And why is he so important? I actually wonder how many of you will know exactly who this is.
That's
And
right,
as you
he's
might have
Alfred
guessed
Hitchcock,
from the
yeah.
title or from the thumbnail, this person right here is the father of the Big Bang Theory. This is Georges Lemaitre, the Belgian cosmologist that also just happens to be a Catholic priest.
Just so you know, I think that flicking you see is my ad blocker trying to stop the ads showing. So when you see it every now and then, that's what it is.
Who was the first to figure out that the universe is expanding, and was also the first to figure out that it all started from a really, really small dense point. But before I talk a little bit more about the history and the importance of all of this, I wanted to briefly mention why I'm showing you this video. This video was only rediscovered in 2022. As a matter of fact, this is the only video we have of Lemaitre on camera, and the only time he was ever interviewed and asked a lot of questions about his theories and about his explanations. And this Belgian broadcasting company has only recently recovered the video footage completely by accident. Turns out that his name was misspelled, and the film turned out to be misclassified with a lot of other older footage, and would have been lost to time if it wasn't for a recent search by some of the new staff members that suddenly recognized him while watching some of this older film. But what makes all of this super intriguing is that back then, in 1964, when all of this originally filmed, Lemaitre was not particularly famous or was not particularly known. As a matter of fact, the Big Bang Theory was barely accepted by anyone. And it's only a year after this was filmed, in 1965, that the scientists finally saw the evidence of the original prediction from his theory, the cosmic microwave background radiation, CMB, an undeniable evidence for his idea, and the definitive proof that he was completely right. But let's actually discuss some of the other details and some of the other history to make all of this a little bit more clear. So, as I mentioned in the beginning, in the early and mid-1900s, the most prominent theory and the most prominent explanation when it came to the universe was known as the steady-state model, proposed in 1948 by Fred Hoyle, Thomas Gold, and Hermann Bondi. But it had a lot of issues, including the fact that it was impossible to explain why the universe consisted of relatively similar density everywhere, with a lot of observations such as, for example, the ratio of hydrogen and deuterium being completely unexplained by this particular idea. But it basically proposed that the universe was always the same and has never really changed much. But if the universe did not expand, and if it was always permanent size, by looking back in time, we should also be seeing a huge amount of galaxies. Here's actually a visual comparison to what we should be observing when looking into the ancient universe with telescopes like the James Webb or the Hubble. But in reality, we actually see something like this. And so this model, known as the tired light model, does not seem to actually explain the observations from various telescopes. Instead of the expanding universe causing the redshift of distant galaxies, for some reason distant galaxies experienced light that over time lost its energy for some unknown reason, or potentially due to some particle, eventually becoming known as the tired light hypothesis. And by the way, the first person to ever measure redshift in galaxies, before we even knew they were galaxies, was Vestal Slipher. He did this back in 1912. But it was of course the American Edwin Hubble that then found a connection between distance, the redshift, and the variety of nebula, which in reality were actually galaxies, eventually leading to something we now refer to as the Hubble's law. And so by looking at various redshifted galaxies, it was Edwin Hubble who officially discovered the universe. There is an older video about this in the description below. But not so long afterwards, another person, Georges Lemaitre, a Belgian physicist and a Roman Catholic priest, started to realize that there was actually a connection here. The recession of nebula, or the recession of these galaxies, was probably due to the expansion of the universe itself. And then there's this iconic picture with Einstein and Robert Millikan, another physicist from America. This picture is iconic for one simple reason. Around this time, Lemaitre proposed his ideas, including very thorough calculations, to Einstein himself. Einstein laughed. He even called his math preposterous. Obviously, he was quite a character. Yet Einstein was completely wrong. And Lemaitre was right. He was one of the first to prove Einstein wrong and to discover something completely new. And obviously because he was also a Catholic priest, it did not sit well with everybody. But his math and his proposition were definitely correct. He realized that if projecting back in time, it looked like the universe seemed to have formed from some kind of a primeval atom or primordial egg. Basically a single point. And it actually took years before any of this started to be accepted by anyone else. As a matter of fact, following this proposition, there were approximately 15 years of very, very heated discussions and debates. But eventually, even Einstein was convinced, and a 1927 paper written by Lemaitre eventually convinced most astronomers. But not Fred Hoyle, the biggest proponent for the steady-state hypothesis, who, as a joke, referred to the other idea as the Big Bang. He basically mocked it. But eventually that term stuck, and so now we know this as the Big Bang Theory. But one of the most important predictions in the Big Bang Theory was that initially there was a very large explosion that very likely produced huge amounts of energy that should be visible even today, potentially visible as some kind of a radio radiation or microwave radiation. And when in 1965 the microwave background radiation was discovered, this definitively confirmed all of the ideas. It essentially suggested that the universe did not always exist. It must have had some kind of a beginning. And this beginning very likely occurred approximately 14 billion years ago, according to Lemaitre. But intriguingly, it was really probably his Catholic upbringing that made him come up with this unusual theory. The idea of beginning, the idea of sudden explosion, with all of this appearing out of a very small point, pretty much all at once, does have a bit of a religious undertone, which is maybe why a lot of scientists did not accept it at first. But now there's just too much evidence to say otherwise. And this interview that was recently released, and unfortunately is only in French right now, although if time allows, I'll probably try to translate this to English, so do subscribe if you don't want to miss that video, essentially shows us what Lemaitre was like, and also clarifies a few things we're always wondering about. For example, in the beginning, he simply talks about the experimental evidence, specifically from various measurements around the universe, that do suggest the expansion of the universe itself. Remember, this is a year before the cosmic microwave background was discovered. But later on, he also starts to talk a little bit more about philosophy and religion, and when the interviewer asks him about the religious significance of his proposition, Lemaitre responds brilliantly. I'm not defending the primeval atom for the sake of whatever religious motive would upset religious people. The beginning is so unimaginable, so different from the present state of the world that such a question does not arise. Even if God does theoretically exist, he says he doesn't believe a deity's existence would interfere with the scientific nature of astronomical theory. If God supports the galaxies, he acts as God. He does not act as a force that would contradict everything. It's not Voltaire's watchmaker who has to wind the clock from time to time. In other words, he basically says that in this case, there's absolutely no reason to believe that anything in the Bible or in any other religion contradicts his observations and his theories. God and the Big Bang Theory are sort of separate. He doesn't think the science demands a religious explanation of any of this, and he doesn't think that the religion finds anything wrong with the Big Bang Theory, although he was clearly not particularly interested in discussing this. He also talks about his fierce proponent, Fred Hoyle, and more importantly, at some point brings up the potential cosmic rays that we should be detecting, that he refers to as the rays of the primeval fireworks, stating that by discovering them, his theory would be proved completely, which was done a year after. Although unfortunately, he died shortly after learning about the discovery of these cosmic waves, which I guess means that he probably died satisfied, and knew that he was correct. And so in this 20-minute long interview, he basically discusses all of the main points and all of the main ideas as seen from the cosmologists of 1960s. And overall, this is a brilliant interview of possibly one of the most brilliant men that's not as well known as Einstein, who proposed something that even today we still kind of have trouble understanding. This man was of course a bit of an enigma. I mean, he was a Catholic priest by training, but was also ridiculously intelligent, and is only one of the few people in the world who was able to prove Einstein wrong. But because of the importance of this interview, and because it's unfortunately only in French, a group of scientists recently translated everything to English and published as a paper available to everyone. And hopefully in the near future, I'll be able to put up the translation on the channel in order to make this interview available in English for everyone to watch. Because that's basically one of the most important interviews when it comes to cosmology, and in this case, Georges Lemaitre, just like Einstein, deserves to become a household name. And hopefully the people who discovered this footage find some more, because this is definitely one of the most important parts of scientific history. But at least for now, that's all I wanted to mention. Check out some of the previous videos on this topic in the description below, watch out for that video of the translation of this, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for watching, subscribe, share this with someone who loves reading about space and sciences, come back tomorrow to learn something else, and maybe support this channel on Patreon by joining channel membership, or by buying the Wonderful Person t-shirt you can find in the description. Stay wonderful, I'll see you tomorrow, and as always, bye-bye.
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 Okay, as you probably saw, my Zoom's about to die.
Yep.
I'm only in the free version, so...
back to Discord then.
Back to Discord, so I've had to kick you all out. I'll go back to Discord.
Righto.
I'll see you back there.
Right then.
And I need to turn my mic back on. And
yes.
We'll go back into hall. Where are we? Should be there. And into there. And then share Discord with everyone else. I should be able to hear us.
It's okay, John Stock, we're still here.
No,
or are you
still
going?
here, Stock.
unless he's the one who's baiting on us.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Good night. Yes. Oops, I'm going to put that up on the channel. Yeah, there's still got leftover video on there. Where are you? Where are you? Gotta find my button. Where's my button? My button. There it is. That's my button. There we go. I got it sort of mostly set up in OBS, but you know, sometimes I lose track of it. So we're all good. Did you know between Apollo missions, 14,700 photos were taken? That's very nice.
Yes.
Did you know after the Apollo 17, no missions, no pictures were taken from the surface of the Earth, surface of the Moon? Actually, that's not true.
Yeah, funny that, eh?
That's not true.
Well,
there is now.
recently.
There have been recently, yeah.
Yes, but not in the majority of the 70s, 80s, 90s, noughties.
Yes.
What I found fascinating was I finally got around to getting the Haynes manual for the space shuttle.
Yeah.
And I hadn't realised just how early on they started planning and designing the space shuttle. They hadn't even landed on the moon when they were doing that. Because NASA were really trying to get invested in building space stations, stuff on the moon, and what they wanted was a workhorse. And they wanted it to be as cheap as possible, so it had to be reusable. So even in the late 60s, they were starting to plan what became the space shuttle. I knew they'd started early, but I didn't realise it was quite that early. You know, I think it was actually before they'd even, first landed on the moon, they were starting to work on it. And then most of their plans got curtailed when their budget got absolutely slashed to ribbons.
Well, I remember that discussion because at the time everyone was excited about the idea of reusable space shuttle. Sorry, I was just distracted by Matt's post. But yeah, they actually the idea was that yes, we'd be using the space shuttle to go to the moon and going off. That was the sort of impression that we got at the time. But it's always hard, I find, is there's what NASA intends to do, and then there's what everyone's imagination of what they think NASA will do. So, you know, NASA says, okay, we're building this craft that'll get us from here to here. And then we say, oh, well, they've got this craft, and then they'll be able to use it for this, and then they'll do it for that, and then there'll be a movie made where, you know, the space shuttle's travelling off to Neptune or something or other. And people get it all mixed up as to what they're actually trying to do. But basically all the money went out of the Apollo missions.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what really changed what the shuttle was going to do, because their budget just got slashed hugely, and it was like, oh shit, well that's most of those ideas out the window, then we can't afford to do it.
Well, the appetite sort of just disappeared for space, really.
Well, that's why NASA, they knew they weren't going to get all the funding they needed from, you know, the usual sources, which is why they went to the Air Force and said, hey guys, would you be interested in helping support this if we were putting stuff up there for you as well? Trying to pinch a bit of their budget.
Yeah. So, from what Matt just posted, if they started in earnest in 66, that's only 14 years from thinking about it to first flight. And for a project like that, that's actually not bad going, is it?
No, it's not.
No.
You know, I mean, look at the F-35. How long's that
Yeah,
take?
but in all fairness, there was an awful lot of testing that should have been done on the shuttle that wasn't. You know, they hurried it along, shall we say. That's why you think, oh, that didn't take very long. Yeah, most new systems like that go through an amazing amount of tests before they stick men in them. They didn't do it quite so much for the shuttle.
No. Well,
I get the impression that it was too complicated for them to fly it without a crew.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, bloody cat.
Launching it, probably not much of a problem. It's getting it back down again.
Yes.
It is.
Yeah, so there'd been an awful lot of discussion over that because I think NASA wanted it to come in more directly, and they didn't want it to have quite such large wings. And then it got changed to having sort of the delta wings, and that led to other problems with the delta wings. It needed more protection from the heat being generated because of the delta wings. There's a different flight path coming in, and that's why it ended up with all of these heat tails and everything, which of course gave them problems later on. So watching that, going through sort of the history of the design process, you think, yeah, I can see why you did that, but then you shouldn't have gone down this road. You know, hindsight is a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
You can see that shortcuts taken led to different, having to redesign things, and those redesigns gave them further problems later on. And I mean, obviously, had they had a bigger budget, then it would have been a totally different system and might actually achieve what they want to achieve. Because at one point they were planning. I think at one point they planned 58 flights a year. That's more than one a week.
Yes.
With a fleet of 3 shuttles, 4 were built, 3 were used originally. To say they're optimistic would be an understatement.
That is. I'm going to see what's happening in the world of global skepticism
Reddit.
on Reddit. Let's see what we've got today. Anything exciting? Why does this keep coming up? I keep saying this, why don't they fucking... It's like... It's so old, but it's still sitting there. What was the new... Rubbish. They tried but failed. Okay. Too many eyes can't see photographs of Antarctica. Because they don't care about the 1.1% of people who know it's fake. No. Yeah. Okay. That one is... I always find it funny how they've got... what's his name? Bob the Science Guy? Is that the... No, that's not his name. What's his name?
That's Bill Nye.
Bill Nye.
Bill Nye, the Science Guy.
That's the guy. That's, yeah. Yes. That's hotspots. It's an ad. This is like, according to science, transparent floating rocks exist. Right. It's got one comment. That's probably about what it deserves. So, how am I supposed to... I always want to... I flick through here and then I flick over to Flat Earth and see what responses you get, because obviously they don't respond in here. Anyway, sorry, Alan.
I was just going to say, funny what would happen if you put a blue filter in front of the moon at night, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
You know, the bit that's illuminated, you'd be able to see would look exactly the same. It's just, you know.
So I'm just looking.
Yes, that's right. I suppose you could put a blue filter in front of the moon and then shine a light on the filter to light the filter up a bit. That'd get you the same effect, wouldn't it?
Okay, I have no idea what. Yeah, it would. I'm gonna take a risk and push this one, see what happens.
Can I talk to the pilot, please?
Right here.
This is an old video, isn't it?
How long have you been flying for?
Like for Delta, 21 years, but maybe like 30 something.
What's the cabin doing?
I want to know, because they say the pilots know a lot. Do you think the Earth is flat or no?
I know it's flat.
You know it's flat? How long have you been flying for, you said?
Over 30 years.
And when you tell people that, do they think you're like crazy or no?
Only one person.
Only one person?
Yeah, you're recording here.
Why is the cabin door open?
I'm assuming they're on the ground, disembarking from the look of the.
Yeah. Okay. Could be.
Because you got to remember where the entrance door is on the smaller aircraft. It's very often right behind the cockpit.
Yeah. Pretty sure that's an old video, but who knows? Could be a new one.
We could put the door on the outside. It'd be kind of windy.
So. It would be, yeah. Yes, make it hard to get in out. Telemetry data. That's old news. This one I thought was the usual. You see this fuzzy detail of a planet that's 190 million, a massive planet for that matter, 190 million miles away, and then it's still expect to be able to see the detail on the moon. That's like, no concept of scale, do they? Nothing at all.
No, none at all.
Oh, Lake Pontchartrain's on fire still, apparently. Is that true?
No, didn't know it was.
Didn't know it was.
What?
It says, Flat Earth, Lake Pontchartrain on fire is still something or other. I'm scared to push it, but let's see.
Pontchartrain on fire.
I don't know if you guys can see right in front of me, but that's Lake Pontchartrain. I'm on the Bunny Carry Spillway, and it's on fire. Right?
Yeah.
The lake is on fire.
Yep.
Okay. That was very informative. What's that got to do with Flat Earth? Don't know. How fake is this? Well, we know what that's going to say. Emergency landings, usual, same.
Oh, blimey.
Same. Gone?
That clip you just played.
Yeah.
That's 5 years old.
Okay.
That was a crude oil storage transfer platform that exploded October the 15th, the Sunday night, 2017.
Okay, so
it would appear
Lake Pontchartrain is level same when frozen. Okay, that is a very okay.
What? Frozen.
I think
last time Lake Pontchartrain was frozen, there were woolly mammals walking.
Quite.
What were we going to say, Ellen?
No, I was just going to say, I'm sure Blue will agree that I don't think Lake Pontchartrain has frozen over any time recently.
Not in the last 10,000 years.
No. Yeah. Oh, I'm not going to play Flat Earth Dave. Perhaps not. Can't imagine anything exciting in that one. Level with me. No, that's just. I can't see anyone's going to race out and watch this level with me video documentary when it comes out. I don't think so. Hairstyle 1's an old one. That's just another old one. Okay. Just looking at that photo, why does this tip up here and here? Makes me worry.
Yeah, funny that, eh?
It's a bit odd.
Yeah,
it's
I wonder.
It's not flat and it's not curved. It's a bit. Oh, there's a spy satellite. There's a spy balloon been taken off. Apparently.
Or is it just a weather balloon?
It's just multiple shots of a weather balloon, but apparently fake satellite satelloons. There you go. That's what they look like. Yeah, usual guff after this. I think I've looked at these ones. They get a lot more ads on their channel, or maybe I just do. I don't know. Let's see what the rebuttals are. It's always the rebuttals. Eee. How do they reconcile this? They don't. They make up rubbish.
Yeah.
Same way they do for everything else. I've yet to hear any reasonable answer, apart from magic bendy light. That's a common one. I mean, some of us have no idea.
Or whatever crap Lindsay comes up with this week.
Well, Lindsay's personal dome is the usual sort of stuff. Oh, we saw that one. Yeah, proves nothing. So obvious, Illuminati confirmed. Okay. Proves nothing. Yes, we know that. Nothing overly exciting up there. Oh, I always like this video. Sit around a lot. Does anyone get to do this in real life?
Oh, that's... what's that, sulfur-hexa
Gibt es eigentlich nicht mehr viel zu sagen, weil echt das Anhören was eingeführt. Außer das macht ihr natürlich. Ja, wir haben also.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
Gas without a container. For a start. What else have I got?
No. It's still a container because it's got
four sides, 5 sides, 4 sides.
It's got 5 sides. 5 sides. The only side it hasn't got is the top, because it's got a bottom as well, hasn't it?
Yeah, 5 sides.
4 walls on the bottom.
Yeah.
5 sides.
5 sides. Okay. Well, let's go full screen and see what we've got here. I didn't play this already, did I?
No.
No. Good. Here we go.
You can't handle the bloody truth. You can't. Go outside, have a look. Do you feel spinning?
Look, I don't mean to be rude, but I'm tired of talking to you.
Have a look at the sky. That's looks to you like 93 million miles away, the sun?
Yep. I think this boy's cheese slid off his cracker.
It's unbelievable. People can't see 93 million miles away. You can't.
What?
Don't tell me I'm gonna have to explain everything again. Do not put me on hold again. Do not put me on...
This is cool.
You've been brainwashed from the day you were born, and you don't even realize it. You can't handle the truth. So, just zip it.
I understand your frustration. That's cool.
You have to be indoctrinated to believe that sun is 93 million miles away.
Recently, I've been covering flatsoid, trying...
You have to believe in your indoctrination program that stars are all over the place. No, they're not all over the place. They are just there in the firmament above you.
I can't believe the incompetence in this place. People like that should be put to sleep.
If you can't see that we're not spinning, we're not doing anything, you know, the earth is stationary, water is always level.
Oh no, you're retarded. Oh.
Been taught by education system that telescope can see billion miles away, and this is wrong.
I know what you're saying. You're saying, oh, I'll bet he's on drugs.
Our firmament is, as much as I know personally, this is not concrete evidence, between 5,000 and 7,000 miles up.
Say what?
So that's how far our telescopes can see. What the hell? Let's say, 10,000 miles. That's the maximum. And that's it. If the sun is further away, you can't zoom in with any telescope because we can't see it that far.
I am high as a kite. I mean, it is unbelievable.
Left at last root straps. Gonna do that. Ah, yes. A lot of those out there. He seems to find them, so there must be a lot on TikTok.
Yes, that seems to be where most of them have gone.
Yeah. Let me put me up there.
That's where the kids are.
Makes me glad I'm not on TikTok.
Same here.
Yeah.
Very good reason not to go on TikTok.
I'm definitely not on TikTok. For lots of reasons, but yeah. Oh dear. Oh dear. What do you say? I had a maximum. What was I? Had 24 views and 12 concurrent at the moment. That's not too bad. Got up to 14. Not sure what our usual stream, but anyway, that's not too bad. Let's put on some our last Simon Dan. We finish with that. I think we won't finish up in about 15 minutes or so. Yeah, let's see. I haven't watched this. I have no idea what it's on about. Let's see.
Trying to debunk Professor Dave's videos. Now they've been very good because Flatzoid can't comprehend anything that Professor Dave is saying. And then he talks for 5 minutes making stuff up as he goes. So imagine my absolute delight when another of my favourite flirfs tries to debunk Professor Dave too. Mr. Terry R. Iker. And it's even better. Hello all and welcome along to another episode of Flat Earth Friday with me, Simon Dan. Thank you very much for joining me. Before we begin today, a huge thank you to the sponsors of today's video, Magic Spoon. Magic Spoon is cereal reinvented. It is genuinely a cereal for that Saturday net grams of carbs. Sugar is not good for the... Click the link below to get some Magic Spoon cereal, $5 off. And Magic Spoon is now adding the most anticipated permanent collection that will now be available to add birthday cake to your custom box. Now, Magic Spoon is so confident below, or scan the QR code right now. Magic Spoon also ships Dave. Now, Terry's channel is called Flat Out Truth. Original, I know. But before we look at that, he recently released a video about me and MC Toon, which he called Dumb and Dumber. Let's have a quick look at this one, shall we?
And would you look at that? Just like Professor Dundave and just like MC Toon, we have another clown in a bedroom making videos.
Actually, that was in my old house over 2 years ago, and it was an office, not a bedroom.
A grown man at his parents' house. And his brother probably still lives there too, because it only looks like he gets the corner of the bedroom.
Nope, my house, and I don't have a brother.
And notice how he's got all the little space stuff filled up, bunched into the background. The globe, the picture of the CGI Earth.
Cool, aren't they?
The little ISS up there to the left, and then some books on a bookshelf behind him that he's probably never read, just there for looks, to make you think that he reads books and might be smart.
Notice how he's using all this scientific evidence to debunk the Earth. Not personally.
He's doing what Bev does. He just creates a fantasy world that he likes to put other people in. Oh, he's got books there that he's probably never read. Yeah, really. say that about me. I've read every single book that's behind me.
I
They have to dream stuff up to bring people down to their own level, you know.
I can say the same because the only books behind me are the Footwork Flats comics. But anyway.
All right.
Yeah. I can't say I've read a lot of books. Anyway. Yes, it just has to bring people down. I think that's... Yeah. It's the same as what, they don't present evidence. They just try and disprove the earth. Anyway, let's see.
No, I do read books, but I don't think I'm that smart, really.
Oh yeah, wow, look at this one. He finally learned how to use a chroma key for his background. Just like Professor Dumdave, just like MC Toon, another grown man living in a bedroom with his childhood fantasy of being on a spinning globe. I mean, this guy seriously thinks he's Jimmy Neutron.
I've been called worse, to be fair.
Okay, now take a look at his logo right here. Does that look familiar to you? Let me show you. Take a look at Jimmy Neutron's logo. Here you go, you can see it better on his shirt. And there's Simon Dan's logo. Now take a look at Jimmy Neutron's hairstyle. And now take a look at Simon Dan's hairstyle.
Oh, wow. I've been busted. I'm a Jimmy Neutron wannabe. You got me there, Terry. What an odd accusation. Let's move on with the main part of the video today, which sees Terry try to debunk Professor Dave. Didn't work out very well for Flatzoid. Will it work out well for Terry? Let's find out.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Debunking Professor Dumdave, episode 9. Now, if you're getting confused on the episodes, the reason we have challenge number 10 in episode 9 is because we did challenge number 5 and challenge number 6 in episode 5. So therefore, that only gives us 9 episodes. Therefore, leaving some people thinking that they missed an episode, but no, that's not the case. Just challenge number 5 and number 6 was so short, not very big challenges at all. I put them both in episode number 5.
You really could have said that in about 10 seconds, but thanks for that, Terry. Moving on.
So, anyways, let's move on with debunking challenge number 10.
This time I'd like to offer some challenges to you remaining few that are desperately clinging to this dying fad to derive some semblance of self-worth.
That is actually very well put from Dave there. Flat Earthers do like to feel important.
Let's call them 10 challenges for Flat Earthers. And number 10, do anything legitimately scientific at all. Publish anything whatsoever about your model in anything reputable anywhere.
Good one, Dave. We will never, and I mean never, ever see that.
And once again, either Professor Dumdave is just too dumb to know this, or he's lying to you and trying to deceive you. But there are many books published about the flat earth in reputable outlets.
Now, of course, Professor Dave here is talking about publishing a scientific paper or article in the likes of Nature or something like that. I can't wait to see these.
And you can easily go online and find those. For example, here, we have Abe Books, a reputable outlet.
Not really when it comes to scientific publications.
Now let's see what we have. Why the Earth is Not a Globe by Vincent Rhodes. Okay, 2019.
And look at that, independently published. Now I could independently publish a book about how unicorn farts are the new holy grail of energy. This means nothing.
Price, $10.50. And here we have 100 proofs that Earth is Not a Globe, 2017, updated edition by William Carpenter. 3 stars. You can buy a new copy for $9.03 or a used copy for $6.38.
Again, independently published. Useless.
Okay, and here we have Zetetic Astronomy, Earth Not a Globe by Samuel Burley Robotham. Let's scroll down here. Look at that, 4 stars. Price, $9.77.
Yeah, this book is very old, published when people didn't really know better. Oh, wait, yes they did, because we've known about the Earth being a globe since the Greeks. Oh, and again, not reputable.
And here we have The Greatest Lie on Earth, expanded edition, proof that our world is not a moving globe, by Edward Hendry. 4-star rating.
Great Mountain Publishing. Let's have a look at some of those other books published by this reputable source, shall we? What Shall I Do to Inherit Eternal Life? Antichrist, the Beast Revealed. Rome's Responsibility for the Assassination of Abraham Lincoln. Not reputable.
Price $51.91.
$51 for that? They saw you coming.
So, anyways, like I said, Professor Dumb Dave is either really that dumb or he's just trying to deceive you and lying to you.
Or, as you have just proved, that he is right and there is nothing from a reputable source.
So, anyways, we debunked the first part of the challenge. Now let's move on to the second part of the challenge.
Invent any technology based on your model. Do anything at all that could be considered actual empirical science. Here's a hint. You may have to study some real science to do it, but then of course you would immediately learn that the Earth isn't flat, so it probably won't be of much use.
Okay, need I say it again? Either Professor Dumb Dave is really this dumb or he's just lying to you and trying to deceive you. Okay. So let's show Professor Dumb Dave some empirical science that's been here long before they ever came along and lied to us and told us that the Earth was a globe. And we'll start out with the sundial, the world's oldest known sundial from Egypt's Valley of Kings, 1500 BC, used to measure work hours. The earliest household clocks known from the archaeological finds are the sundials, 1500 BC in ancient Egypt and ancient Babylonian astronomy. Now let me explain to you how the sundial works. A sundial is a horological device that tells the time of day when direct sunlight shines by the apparent position of the sun in the sky. In the narrowest sense of the word, it consists of a flat plate and a gnomon, which casts a shadow onto the dial.
And it would absolutely not work if the Earth was flat. Take a look at this from the brilliant Joss Lays. A shadow on a sundial would look different at the same time in different locations on Earth. But if you apply it to a globe, it's irrefutable.
And I myself am going to show you how that works on the time calculator of the Gleason's flat Earth map. You see, the sun has to be in the sky, and the sun itself has to be rotating in its clockwise circuit. For the sundial to work, the ancient Egyptians, Babylonians, the Incas.
If he moves the sun in the same position, but sticks his shadow further down, say on Australia, is it still going to do the same thing?
The Mayans, this is how they told time. This is how they kept track of time and days and months and years.
All irrelevant, because the second you put two pencils on your map, you're going to get shadows going in different directions, aren't you? Now, apparently Terry sweetens his video with a clip from an actual scientist that thinks the Earth is flat. Let's have a look, shall we?
There's all kinds of proofs right around you that show that the Earth is flat. A very simple one to think of is that we use plumb bobs to build buildings. In other words, to get the wall of a building going straight down, you'll take a string with a heavy weight hanging from it, and you make the building follow that string. That plumb bob will point to the center of a round Earth. That means that if you imagine that this was the correct Earth, you can imagine a plumb bob held here would point in that direction, and a plumb bob held here would point in that direction. That means the buildings would be bigger on the top than at the bottom.
Okay.
Yeah, well, the good thing is we don't have 100-mile wide buildings, do we? Wow, what a shocking statement. Well, I think that's enough of Terry R. Iker for another day, don't you? Let's wrap this one up for today and say we are all done and dusted for another Flat Earth Friday. Thank you so much for watching today. It truly is appreciated. If you enjoyed it, please do consider subscribing. We're still on that march for 500,000 subscribers. Hopefully we can do it by the end of this year. And of course, if you really enjoyed it, hit that like button too. Just enough time to once again thank Magic Spoon for sponsoring today's video. Remember,
They won't listen.
Magic Spoon.
Sorry. Magic Spoon. I suppose it's better than the what was it? The Scottish Lords and whatever one it was.
Oh yeah. Was Magic Spoon the disappointing follow-up to Magic Bus?
Click my link in the description or scan the QR code and use...
Stop. Yeah. That was a bit disappointing. I gotta admit, there wasn't very much in that at all.
No.
The only other one he's got is about mud flood, and to me that's even worse.
To be honest, that was quite disappointing as well.
Yeah. I actually felt I'm not getting as much out of Dan as I used to. Maybe it's just because there's so little content around. I know they seem to be pulling up a lot more older stuff and redoing it. So
yeah. I
suppose if you're a content creator, you've got to find it somehow. Actually, I came across something really interesting today. You know the what's that French bridge? Milou Bridge? Milou? The big, tall, massive bridge.
Millet.
The Millet Bridge.
Millet.
That is one structure from abutment to abutment. Like it doesn't have expansion joints along the length of the bridge.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
How does it take account of expansion and contraction then?
Well, it does, but it has massive expansion joints at each abutment. Like, so it'll expand about up to about 1.5 meters at each end, 2 meters at each end, and it has a flexible expansion joint, which surprised me. But the other thing, you think, okay, you know how it has the splits in the pillars? If you can envision it, you've got how they come up and the columns split into two, and then the road deck sits on that, and then it comes back down for the tower. Each of the towers. That's not just a pretty feature. That's actually how they handle the expansion and contraction. So the towers actually move, but by having those splits in it means that the concrete has more flexibility than it would if they didn't have those splits. So that was really interesting because I just assumed that they had expansion joints at each tower, but no. Very, very interesting. The whole structure was an interesting structure.
Well,
it's
like the hospital I worked on in Birmingham. It's got 3 7 or 8 story tall towers. Now they're full of movement joints and all sorts of things, but they're primarily not for thermal contraction and expansion. They're for the wind. Because these towers are quite oval in profile, and I think where they built it, the wind has a habit of hitting the sides of the towers rather than the front. So there's actually quite a lot of movement due to the wind, and these expansion joints are to give the towers a degree of flex, so they actually go with the wind rather than fight against it. And we, in our wisdom, put a pair of 0.5 meter chilled water pipes that spanned all 3 towers with no movement in them.
Right.
So we then had to come along and retrofit, instead of putting expansion bellows in, all of the mounts that the pipes are on were basically on sliders, so that either the building or the pipes, depending on your viewpoint, could move relative to each other. Whoever designed the pipework, and that wasn't me because that was all done way before I came on the job, hadn't allowed for the fact that the buildings were designed to move, and we linked all 3 together with 0.5 meter diameter chilled water pipes. And somebody said, "Here, hang on a minute. Where's the movement in these pipes? What movement? Oh shit, yeah." And in fact, it turned out that across the entire job, the mechanical subcontractors thought that the architects and the consultants had allowed for thermal contraction, and the architects and the designers thought the mechanical subcontractor had allowed for thermal contraction. So there was no movement joints in the pipework anywhere in a £500 million hospital. That's one of my jobs when I came in as a services coordinator, was to try and work out how we could allow for it going forward and how we could retrofit and modify pipework that was already installed. And you just went into any of the buildings and looked at pipework crossing a movement joint and thought, we've got nothing in the pipework for it. We had to go back and retrofit systems to allow everything to move together.
Yeah. Well, I hope,
bit of a cock up on the 560 million pound project.
Well, I have seen people do a bit of flexible piping and stuff. I don't currently not working with a team that's doing a lot of building work, but I have in the past. And they often had samples, etc., of different ways of doing, like they get people coming around and try and sell them stuff. Obviously, or not sell them, but convince people to put it in their plans so that the builders then have to use it. So we get a bit of that. So we had all these samples and things floating around the office.
If you're very careful and the pipework's not that large, then just how you lay the pipework out and where you have branches coming off before you get to a corner. If you give the pipework enough room, then the pipework itself will flex and take up any movement. It's when you get into bigger stuff, you know, the sort of size pipework that's 3, 4, 5 inch diameter that's all sort of welded and flanged. You're then looking at expansion bellows and sliders and all sorts of expensive stuff. But the smaller stuff, if you lay it out properly in the first place, you know, you make sure if you're turning 90 degrees, you don't have any branches off it within 3 or 4 meters, then there's enough flex in the pipe itself that it will move with the building.
Yeah.
But that means you have to think about it when you lay it out in the first place.
Yeah. Well, that's how
you can engineer the problem out.
Obviously, we use straight pieces of pipe all the time, but we have to make them go around bends. So we know all the deflection angles you can use pipe and stuff, and how much you can get it to bend in each.
Because ultimately, I mean, the steam pipe work I work with down at Portsmouth Naval Base in the stores there, we had 60, 70 metre run of pipe in a straight line from one end of the store to the other. So in several places along the wall, we had a pipe loop.
Yeah.
And you turn 90 degrees, you go up, turn 90, come down, turn 90, turn 90 again. And you just engineer a big loop into the pipe.
Yeah.
And you let that loop be the movement. You let it flex. Which is all right if you've got room to do it.
Yes. Well, that's the other thing, because all the fire protection in the pipe systems as well. You know how they have the special collars that if there's a fire, it will snap shut to stop the fire travelling through the pipes. Yeah,
that's right. It expands and it will crush the pipe.
Yeah. The things people don't know exist in the system. That's why it's expensive when there's a fire, because they've got to go back and replace all that stuff if the building doesn't burn down.
That's it. You know, fire dampers in ductwork. It's most basic. A spring-loaded shutter that's held by a fusible link, and if it gets too hot, the fusible link melts and the shutter slams shut. And probably one of the worst jobs in the world is testing it and then having to reach in and reset the damn thing.
Yeah.
And if you slip, it'll have your bloody fingers off.
Yes, luckily I haven't had to deal with that stuff. All my stuff's inside. Not is outside. So I have it to build.
Yeah.
I did design special pits for the airport, though. That was one of the issues of the airport, is that we have to design for fuel spills, of course. If they're loading a plane, they can have a fuel spill. So there's a few rules involved in that. But one of the issues I had was that we obviously had stormwater pits all the way along because it was dead flat, so we had to have quite a few pits to try and pick up the stormwater. But if the fuel went into the stormwater pits and you had a flame, it would actually travel along and then could ignite underneath all the other planes in the series, because obviously they're all parked next to each other.
Yeah.
So I designed very special stormwater pits with an overflow system, so that basically like an S pipe, if you like, but basically the inlet pit would drop down, and so it might have a little bit of water in the bottom. But if you had a fuel spill, the fuel would rise up on one side and wouldn't rise up on the other, so you couldn't get the flame to travel through the pit if you had a fuel spill. That's the theory anyway. So yeah, luckily they took those on board and put those all in. The other trick I had to do was make sure that none of the pipes went underneath the building, so if it did happen to fail, that it would all stay outside of the building and not actually get under the building as at the terminal light. So all the stormwater went around the outside and then down to pits, down to gross pollutant traps, massive GPTs we had on the outside. They were huge GPTs I had to put in because we had to
I bet.
cater for the surface water and plus the chance of the fuel and all sorts of stuff. But it was funny when I first...
Yes,
when I first was doing the job and we're looking at the old survey and I pointed out, oh, look, there's where your old GPTs. And the other guys go, we had GPTs? And I said,
yeah.
Yeah, you're supposed to clean them out every few years, you know. Oh, okay. They were old style. They were basically just a pit in the ground. But it's sort of like, yeah, you actually meant to clean it out. So the new ones, they could come along with a truck and do it properly. But they were sort of like, oh, they didn't know they had gross pollutant traps in their system. Anyway, okay.
Christ.
The funny things that go on.
Yes, that's true.
But yeah, that was quite interesting doing the airport for that, all that sort of stuff. So much stuff I didn't get to do otherwise.
Oh, well. Yeah, I used to like working on the airfields.
Well,
did a lot of it for the Americans, and then spent a year at Bryce Norton. That was quite interesting places to work.
Well, I was interested because you're working on the flattest. The airports are all located on the flattest and generally the lowest part of town because it's places that are flattest. So it's got no drainage, and trying to design drainage systems to work for them. And they're very flat, and it's very specific rules about how much, because the planes have to be level. And when they say level, have to have the wings at the same level either side. And but they don't have to be longitudinally, but they did have to be so that if they're putting fuel in one side of the plane, that didn't end up with more fuel on one wing than another, because some of their systems work that way. So it was all these rules that went against trying to make everything grade for drainage that I had to try and still comply with and still have it grade. So anyway, I came up with a solution that worked and they're happy with, so that's all right.
I can think of one very famous airfield that was built on top of a hill because the closest bit of lowland was too marshy.
Yeah. So what airfield was that?
And that was Biggin Hill.
Oh yeah. Hello, you.
It is literally
Squeak.
It literally sits on the dome of the top of the hill.
Squeak.
Just caught up. So
yes, it's Squeak.
It's Squeak. Hang on, people want to see Squeak.
Problem is, I don't hear it half the time because these are noise-cancelling headphones. What's that? Come here. Come on. Come here. Come on. Come on. If you want to fuss, you have to come to me.
I need to put your camera on so we can see.
I know.
Discord. I want to see Squeak.
Oh. Do you want to see Squeak? Hang on then.
Let's see Squeak.
Come here.
You've seen one cat. You've seen them all, haven't you? You turned your camera off again.
No, there he is.
Oh.
You happy now? You stop making that bloody racket now, because she's developed a habit of going outside and then coming back in and standing in the kitchen for 30 seconds very loudly announcing her presence. I don't mind, except when it's like 4 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, you just do that and you just sit there going, reh, 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 and it's like, what do you want, a round of applause?
Food.
The food's there. There is a food and water supply 24/7, but it's only when, or if I'm sat downstairs watching the telly, she'll come down the stairs just enough to stick her head through the banister and just go, eh, and it's like, what do you want? I'm here. What do you want? I think she might be losing the marbles, but then she's quite old.
Anyway, hello everybody.
So
Good
I
on,
don't know.
Space Matt.
How's things going?
Hello, Matt. You've got quite 5 minutes, have you?
Well, sort of. There's still people around, but it's quiet.
Yeah, I was.
It must be quite lively in your place at the moment.
Yeah, cramped.
Yeah, I bet.
5 people in a 3-bedroom house.
Well, I was just about to finish the stream, but we can be on here for a little sec after that. I think I've done as much as I was going to do tonight. Thanks for the people at YouTube.
Hello, Internet World. Goodbye, Internet World.
Good night. You got to
Or
hear Matt
YouTubes,
for
I
2
should say.
seconds. YouTube. And we'll be back again on Saturday. No, it is Saturday. Saturday today, isn't it? Wednesday, our time.
Wednesday.
Any updates? Can you update anybody about Terry? What's going on?
No real updates at the moment. I haven't heard from Terry, so I think it's still the same. He's a bit crook and
Still crook.
Up to streaming. So, thanks guys, and we'll catch you next time. Push the button. See you
Bye.
guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
It will not end immediately. That's good to know.